Happer and Schaefer. Happer and wah, Schaefer. It's Connor and Mike. Yeah. Happer and Schaefer. Happer and Schaefer. Happer and wah, Schaefer. It's Connor and Mike.
All right, good morning and welcome in. Happy Tuesday. It's Happer and Schaefer here on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, the Zone Radio Network. I'm Connor Happer alongside Mike Schaefer, Joey Warcola. Good morning, gents.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Joey, your watch is over. You don't have to worry anymore.
No longer
You
concerned.
don't get one of the best players in the league, and for this you are thankful.
And in return, we still have one of the best players in the league. Hooray!
Hooray.
Suck on that, ESPN.
But maybe a relationship that is permanently damaged.
Oh, it's
When
been
did this happen? I missed this. It must overnight.
No,
it was at midnight. It was midnight, around midnight when the trade was announced.
No, I was barely leaving the stadium. It was probably 11. It was probably
close
11.
close enough. It was overnight.
Okay, sure. 11, is that overnight?
So the
11
story went
overnight?
up
It's
around
over-
10:52. So
Is 10:52 overnight? That's a great way to start
It
the
is.
show.
It is in the Eastern Time Zone.
Yeah, but do we live in the Eastern Time
No,
Zone?
we don't. No, we don't.
I say 10:52 is just late, not overnight.
yeah, definitely not overnight. Overnight should imply at least like the chance that the day has switched on the calendar.
Yeah, I'm thinking like after 1 is overnight.
Ooh, okay.
What do we think about that?
I mean, I don't hate that generally. Prior to this job, after 1 would definitely have been overnight because I probably go to bed around midnight.
But even if you're awake, it could still be overnight,
Yeah, that's fair.
right? Because people work overnight.
I have worked overnight. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I'm good with 1.
After 1, okay.
I'd say after 1 works for overnight. I can live with that. 10:52 is late.
10:52 is just late.
Okay, we could do that.
10:52, it's
We could
just
agree to that.
late, but it happened, and Giannis got traded to the Heat. I guess it's NBA.
NBA day.
The NBA,
NBA
gets
draft night.
The NBA gets a day today after following the College World Series. Nice job. Now, I remember a time where these two things would happen on the same day, or they would happen directly after each other. I don't know what the NBA is trying to do with its draft. I genuinely have no idea. But apparently it's tonight.
Yep, ESPN's is looking for content. They're done with the College World Series, and now they need to air something. So why not put on
For the record,
the NBA draft today and tomorrow?
For the record, I think it's a good idea to put it, immediately after the College World Series ends,
sure.
Instead of them overlapping with each other.
Yeah.
Like it was at one point in society. But because I specifically remember, like, this is probably when it was at Rosenblatt. I guess I don't know when it's been recently, but I remember they would overlap.
Oh, no, it was definitely recent because I've complained about this. It was it overlapped when Skeens and Lauder pitched against each other, and we cut away from the end of that game. Basically, the game ends, the broadcast signs off. Maybe one of the better College World Series games, certainly at Charles Schwab.
Yeah. Definitely.
I would put it up there with just about any College World Series game I've ever seen. But
definitely.
Whatever. We had to cut away immediately from the broadcast so we could get to Marty Smith in the arena in San Antonio because they were about to draft Wemby that night.
Huh.
And ESPN had 2 different channels devoted to draft coverage.
So the Skeens ladder game was a winner's bracket game, right? That was a 1-0 game?
No,
or was that an opener?
Winner goes to the championship.
Oh, yeah.
That
was that the 1-0 game, or it went to extra innings? It was a pitcher's duel.
It was an extra innings game.
Yeah.
And Tommy White hit the home run.
Right. So it was a Thursday.
Tommy Tanks.
It was a
Thursday.
It was a Thursday.
Yeah.
Because I came up and did the show, which was great. but then was sad because I wouldn't be able to watch it, but got to listen to the broadcast on my drive back.
Baseball.
And then because nobody was scoring, by the time I got home or back to Lincoln, it was probably already the 5th inning, and then watched the rest of it, on the television up until I saw pale Marty Smith in his Wembyama jersey.
Wow.
And was mad about it.
He was mad about it? Or you
I was mad about it because they spent no time discussing this game. It's like walk-off home run, cool scene shot, broadcast booth. We got to go see ya because something really important's coming up. Pale ass Marty Smith.
It's a stark change. It's a stark change. You go from college baseball and you're overloaded with...
pretty good, so extra coverage probably fair.
Yep.
Probably fair. But,
good for the most part.
Salty Joey.
Unbelievable. It's a stark change. You're overloaded with one thing, and then bang,
he's not as good as Jaylen Brown.
All of a sudden, you have to go to real life again.
Well, Jaylen Brown's an NBA champion.
We need to give that. Doesn't make you
2 NBA Finals.
That
parents.
does not make. So is Giannis, and you've cried all week about the possibility of him.
Wait, Giannis went to 2 NBA Finals?
No, Giannis went to 1.
You just said NBA champion.
And you know what Giannis didn't have? Jason Tatum, a better player on his team.
He had Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday.
Giannis was definitely the best player on that team.
Joey's completely off the rails list of all the players that Jaylen Brown is better than.
I would actually love to hear this. This is a great topic alert.
Oh,
next week, should we give Joey a week instead of us?
Give me some time.
It's just Joey's tiers of players that Jaylen Brown is better than.
I want to hear it off the cuff, to be honest with you. I'd like to hear it right now, just to see where we end up.
It's early for me.
I don't even know if there's 4 players in the league that he thinks is better than Jaylen Brown.
But anyway, you don't have to deal with the horrifying pain of Giannis being on your basketball team, Joey. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well done.
I am happy.
It's the horrifying pain of losing to him in the playoffs.
Well done by you. The College World Series did indeed wrap up with a fart noise last night. Yeah, it was a boomer. It was a boomer. And those are sort of exciting in their own way because there's this there's this 6-inning build up to a team that you're pretty sure is going to win the national championship, and there's a buzz about it the entire night. That was definitely the buzziest the College World Series has been throughout this entire time. So I'm glad we got that.
Felt like a fitting way for this specific subset of teams to, have that College World Series.
Yeah, I was really hoping that we would end up
a non-competitive game where a bludgeoning happens.
I was hoping that we would get a reward at the end of the rainbow.
No reward.
We did not get a reward last night. We got some great stories and and a great celebration by Oklahoma and all those different things, but we did not get rewarded with a cookie at the end of the long College World Series. So we will talk about that throughout the show. We have to play the game that everybody that we have to play after anyone wins a championship in sports, which is what did we learn from this championship, or who should be inspired by this championship, who should glean some sort of confidence that they can be the next version of this team coming off of this championship.
We should create some categories that we could go to, and then every time a team wins the championship, we can just go back to these specific categories.
Do you think we could do it?
Why were we wrong? As in, neither of us thought that this team was going to win the national championship. How did they do it? We come up with 4 or 5 things. And then we could just do it for any title that happens.
Yeah, I do love there's been a couple times where a team has won a championship is like, ooh, I kind of like that because it gives half of the country confidence or something like that. So I am excited to talk about this one in particular because the sport is so unique, and it was a team from the SEC who just so happened to finish 11th place in their conference this year, which is absolutely tremendous. Great fodder for the SEC to continue to talk about how good they are at everything. So we have that coming up on the show today. We have Mitch Sherman and Jacob Padilla who will join us as our regular guests here on this Tuesday, 8:30 and 9:15, respectively. That is our lineup. Our power rankings with tiers is coming up today. Speaking of championships, we will rank the championship events
from the NCAA.
The NCAA championship events. Now, Since you said NCAA, does the college football playoff count?
Yes.
Sad.
So college champion.
You guys may be shocked where I put the college football playoff.
I will not be shocked.
You guys may be.
I have been your
I
radio
can't imagine.
co-host now for 6 months. 6 months.
Plus some
the previous,
more shows.
few years. So I don't know that you were as unhappy with the college football playoff at that time. It just was a stupider version of it.
Oh, it's gotten way stupider. It's gotten more stupid like 3 times.
I feel like the current iteration is its best and will only get stupider from now. It was stupid, then it got better, now it's stupider.
Okay. Well, we'll see where the football playoff goes on the list. That is coming up at 7:30 today. Elsewhere, we have to go back to the breaking news of yesterday with Dusty May. What does that mean? What kind of ripple effect does that have on college athletics or on college basketball and whatever it might be? And then we have a variety of other things too. We got to get back into the groove of things with the College World Series coming to an end. Are there any Husker topics you're dying to hear us talk about?
I was thinking about it yesterday and not particularly. There's not I don't have anything. This is a bad job by me, knowing that the College World Series was going to be over today. This would have been a great day to have a really thoughtful question to ask about Nebraska football. And I just don't have it at the moment.
We'll stumble upon something.
My brain is not ready for Nebraska football off season.
What do you think's going on in the message boards? What do you think they're talking about over there?
Talking about them stripes.
Yeah, I mean, you never really know what they're talking about on the message board.
The people were speaking of people that are things that people are talking about. I went to the For You thing last night. Lots of folks were mentioning the umpiring last night. Did you notice the umpiring in its quality last? Because I really didn't all that. Certainly not much more than any other college baseball game that I've experienced in my life.
North Carolina was unhappy with, I think, the high strike zone.
Okay. But was it consistent?
Yeah, I mean, for what it was, it didn't stand out as being particularly bad. I'll be honest, when a strike zone is high, it doesn't bother me as much as when it inexplicably grabs a part of the plate that doesn't exist on the outside corner. Those, and I don't know if that's just I don't know why I think that, but I don't ever really get as annoyed by high strikes as I do by outside.
Okay.
Opposite-handed hitters getting rung up on stuff that clearly didn't cross.
I just checked, because sometimes you check in over there and you're like, this is a storyline that I didn't even know was happening.
Sure.
You take a dive in, you're
you see North Carolina's giving it to the umpire last night, though, right?
Well, I heard some shouting from the stands. I didn't see.
Oh no, the dugout was.
Yeah. Yes. From everywhere.
That's about the only thing that stood out, though, is that maybe some high strikes that were consistent, nothing that was. It was absurd.
All I'm saying, it was weird as to how much of a conversation it was, considering the game was 13-2 last night.
I don't think any of the strikeouts or any of the strikes would have dramatically changed.
Hey, North Carolina shot their best shot, man. You rode with the guys that you rode with, and it didn't work out last night. There was one moment where they brought the Glauber guy into the game, and Willett's the most outstanding player of the tournament, got the big hit, and basically ended the game right there. That was it.
It was that entire thought process and line of decision thinking to bring him into the game in a 2-0 count in that situation felt so horribly mismanaged to me. But, obviously that was their silver bullet, and it was a weird time to fight. Everything about it was weird. I thought the North Carolina manager panicked very early. They just didn't have anyone they felt like could otherwise throw strikes coming out of the bullpen.
No, I think that's it. I mean, I think they have 3 arms,
yeah. And at some point, especially in a series where you play the same team over and over, they're going to get enough of a look at it that you got to have someone else to be able to keep them off balance.
I mean, there was even Taka DeCaro going into the game last night.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was never close enough for that to exist for North Carolina. I just think they were walking quite the tightrope. And then
they just clearly had guys that they could not use or were not comfortable using.
And then there was, as we talked about.
The other thing is Oklahoma's ripping the cover off the ball.
Right. And then as we talked about yesterday, I mean, there was just so many. You can't really make mistakes in a game like that. And there was too many mistakes, I think, as the game sort of went along as well. So we could break all that down today as the College World Series comes to an end. A lovely College World Series, truly, because we had great weather basically the entire time, which is fantastic. We were in the 70s, finished off with a great sky last night and a great finish, except for the quality of the competition of the game.
There's only one game that was ever delayed, right? Like the start of the Saturday night game, Georgia and Texas was delayed
half hour.
Yep, that's it. And then they moved up the first game of the championship series.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I mean, that's pretty terrific.
There was no in-game delays. No. There was only one appearance or I guess 2 appearances from the tarp the entire time, those 2 times, and nothing was ever discernibly messed up as far as the schedule was concerned. We got great weather. We just fell a little bit short on the competitive baseball games category. But there were storylines to go around, that's for sure. And Oklahoma wins a national championship, and they chanted SEC, SEC, SEC up and down the streets all night long. Today on the show, you can, as always, hit us up 402-951-1620 on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. You could call or text that number. Tweet at us at @HappenSchaefer, at Connor Happer, at Mike J. Schaefer on the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed. Email Connor, Mike, or Joey at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. And we say good morning to our YouTube streamers this morning. Hello. Debo writes in. He says, here's a topic. Any advice you wish you knew for your wedding day? Asking for myself. Congratulations, Debo. And probably I'd have to think on it a little bit.
Yeah, mine was...
Don't get married during COVID.
Mine was a giant storm. We got married the same year.
Yeah.
There was power outages throughout the city on the day that I got married. There were.
It was also very hot.
Yeah. Well, actually, it was 72, but there was just no AC at my reception for the first 2 hours.
It was 72?
Yeah.
Because I feel like I remember going outside for a reprieve and it was still hot.
Well, I don't know. It could have been humid.
It was probably muggy. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was a weird July. It was a July wedding, so you're prepared for it to be hot, and then you get 72-degree day, but massive storms and power outages and everything else. The best advice I can give you is to just roll with the punches. Random things are going to happen. The guy who was supposed to deliver food to the wedding party before the wedding locked his keys in his car. So our food sat in the car for about an hour before it arrived and everything else. You just never know what's going to happen, and prepare for things to go wrong, and it'll all end up great anyway.
Debo says portable chargers and small fans. Roger that. Yeah, that'd be a nice little party gift. The little fans that they give out at baseball games where you could spritz yourself.
We gave out these golf balls that I'll get photos every now and then of people that are playing in various places.
I still have mine.
Them, and they'll send me photos of them. Some people have used those golf balls at really nice courses. It surprises me.
That's awesome.
Because they are not quality golf balls. The other thing I remember is that a lot of the kids that were at the wedding took the golf balls and were rolling them down the street, basically.
Nice.
So yeah, that's if you come across I don't even remember what it is.
There's a little champagne glass, champagne flutes on there. They're cheersing each other, and it says Mike and Shelby.
Yeah,
and
I can't remember if it says anything else.
I think the date.
Yeah, 7/10/21.
Yeah, because I have this ball in my bag. Okay. I have not lost it yet. Or
I don't have the ball.
I got the ball.
Shelby, someone gave her one when she was out playing the other day. She has it in her car.
That's like the better version of koozies, where it's oh, that's koozies from my wedding.
We have a drawer.
How'd you get that?
We have a drawer of
wedding koozies.
Probably 75 koozies, 50 of which seemingly are from weddings. I do enjoy rummaging through there and just randomly pulling it out.
Seriously.
And then remembering what that night
was like. It's like a time machine.
I like all of this stuff. Other people hate it. I'm generally on board.
I'll always grab it. One thing about me, I'll always grab a free koozie.
Yeah.
I'm always taking it. I don't
That's
care.
how you have the drawer of all the koozies.
It'll end up in
They can be in a golf bag. They can be in a car. They can be in a cooler. They can be in the drawer in your house.
Any number of places.
They're valuable.
No doubt about it. All right. Off and running here on this Tuesday. Once again, would love to hear from you all today. We're back after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, so you guys are going to have to help me out on this one, because anytime I've seen anything on this over the last several weeks, it is completely in one ear and out the other. The Protect College Sports Act. What is this? And what does it mean, and what is happening with it? Those are my questions to start with.
Those are your questions. All right. So it is a bill that has bipartisan support, which makes it rare to start there.
Okay.
Which includes Ted Cruz and Maria Cantwell. Ted Cruz, everybody sort of knows at this point. Maria Cantwell is a Democratic senator from Washington. And so basically this bill is to sort of provide some guidance for the NCAA, whether that be with, things like media rights, but also, and more to the point, it is to outline or attempts to outline how many times one can transfer, what else do we have in here? Eligibility rules. They want to put a cap on payments to athletes. Basically, this bill, if anything like this is going to pass, this is a version of it that got things started, but the NCAA doesn't particularly care for it as it is, and has stated that there needs to be revisions to it. Both the Big Ten and the SEC have come out and basically said, like, we appreciate the effort, but we don't like this, which is amazing because they don't really agree on anything. But instead, you get a kind of joint statement here. We continue to believe revisions are needed to secure our support for the bill, the SEC and Big Ten said last week, in a joint statement. We're encouraged that several Commerce Committee members share our concerns and support these recommendations. We will continue working with stakeholders to ensure the bill delivers meaningful protections for student athletes and lasting stability for college sports.
Okay.
So again, this is like a never-ending story. You remember how you were discussing, I can't remember what off-season story, every time a little bit would pop up, there'd be more headlines on it. And you're like, this only exists to make us mad and remind us that we're going to be mad. It was similar to this. Where
I mean, that's definitely true in this case. Yes.
There would just be a little bit each time. And it wasn't Sorsby. It was pre-Sorsby, but similar kind of concept where it's like there'd be a little bit of reporting and it's like, oh yeah, this is going to be discussed and it's annoying. And then there'd be a little bit more reporting and it just builds on each other. That's basically what this is with this bill. And so you've got the Commerce Committee. They voted 19-9 last Thursday morning to move it forward to a full Senate vote. It faces a number of challenges because you don't have enough support from the people that are actually involved. Like the NCAA only likes portions of it. The Big Ten and the SEC don't like a lot of it, mostly because nobody wants governance.
So I guess that's my next question then. If nobody likes it, then what are we talking about?
We're talking about it because certain lawmakers continue to try to move forward with this. You have people, Sam McEwen has had this conversation on this show before, that your best bet to get a unifying set of rules likely is going to have to come from the federal government, which is a terrifying thought.
Very much so.
Generally. And so this sort of matters as this bill, which has to shift its shape in order to get enough support to ultimately pass. Like, it matters in the sense that you should be aware of its existence should it actually reach the finish line. Because again, you're having to get all of these different parties to sort of agree on something, and many of them have things that they don't want to give up or they don't want to agree to whatever is being stipulated.
Well, for the record, like, every time I have seen this story pop up, first of all, they need to come up with really better names for these bills and these things that they are introducing. I understand what they're trying to do, but it's not really working for me. And then I hear people talk about how it needs to pass through these various, whatever, the Senate is coming up with this. And I hear this conversation about politics and things like that. And I'm like, all right, great. I know enough about the situation to know that nothing productive will ever happen here. And I have just basically axed it out of my life. Anything that I've seen on this, I just haven't really paid attention to it. And I guess I don't know the bill well enough or what they're trying to do well enough to understand if it would be a good thing or a bad thing. I don't understand why the NCAA itself can't propose something like this to keep it out of the politics part of this. I understand that there's an element to that no matter what they do. But I don't know. Every time I see this and the Senate, and I'm like, all right, cool, great. I don't have to think about this.
Major stuff in here, like big reasons why the Big Ten and the SEC would be opposed to it. The bill would basically create it so the NCAA largely has the media rights ability to sell it for everybody instead of conference by conference.
Yeah, I can imagine why they'd hate that
shift.
Yeah,
for the Big Ten and the SEC in particular. The other super notable thing in here is that it continues to keep antitrust exemptions while also offering absolutely nothing about the employee status of the athletes themselves. So that's one of those things that likely both senators are going to argue needs to be addressed. Like there's certain senators that want NCAA athletes to be declared employees, so they're not going to vote for this bill because of that alone. So you have all of these different things, and the NCAA likes the idea of an overarching bill because it provides teeth and power that they do not have.
Mm-hmm.
They don't love this version of the bill. The Big Ten and the SEC definitely don't love this version of the bill. So it's a matter of whether there's enough compromise that all parties involved can reach it.
There's no way.
I just don't know.
There's no way. There would be no way
media
that
rights
would
stuff would have to be taken out. And I don't know how married the NCAA is to that. There's other stuff in here that they care way more about, which is eligibilities, the elimination of waivers, and transfer control.
Once you go to the negotiating table on this stuff and you start haggling things down and you make compromises or whatever it is to create a different either framework for the bill entirely or just change the parts of it that matter. It's just that will never end. People will see the inch and they will take a mile every single time. And then it will be a competition to see who can get the most out of it to benefit themselves, because that is the endless cycle that we're in college sports right now. So I would imagine that exact same thing would happen here if there is any sort of wiggle room at all to create this new sort of environment. That's why I'm like, all right, well, have fun. You guys have fun. Good luck with that. Good luck with that, Dan. Good
luck with that, Dan.
That's basically where I'm at.
The biggest thing is more or less, can they come to some kind of conclusion as it results in eligibility, player eligibility, so you can have that, so you aren't having to go to the court system.
It feels like everybody's cool with 5 for 5, right?
That should be coming out this week as well.
Yeah.
And so that might just take care of that on its own. The government, and when I say the government, certain people are interested in two different things that I don't think conferences or the NCAA cares about as much, which is capping the earnings potential of the athletes. Now, I think schools and the NCAA care to a point, but they don't care so much that they want it dictated by the United States government on that. And then the media rights things, because again, individual conferences like the Sun Belt and the MAC, they are probably cool with it. They have no voting power.
They would love it.
The Big Ten and the SEC are definitely not going to just be like, you know what, we want to give up our exclusive right to negotiate the ability to televise our product.
The entire reason that the college sports landscape is in the position that it's in. Yeah, no, never.
So
I would never do that.
I think the first thing that would have to go would be the media rights, and then you might have a better chance of.
You're right. I mean, I don't even know. That's an absolute non-starter.
It's wild to me that that's even in there, but it's in there because it goes to the other point of there's people that want to cap the amount of money that is being paid out.
So what should fans be rooting for?
I don't know. That's what's always fascinating about the college discussion anyways, because everybody comes at it from their own sort of vantage point. You have people who hate the fact that these athletes are being paid at all. You have people who feel like it hasn't gone far enough and want them to have employment status. Like, it's as polarizing as the political landscape would be anyways, which makes it a sort of hilarious thing to track through this entire environment, because it does have bipartisan support, but there's wide ranges inside of there of what people want this bill to actually accomplish.
Yeah. Which is why it makes me think that nothing will ever,
It makes me think what I'm thinking of is like the Major League Baseball labor dispute, where the closest you're going to get to is everyone sort of hates whatever they end up passing, and it allows for things to continue, but then will result in future legislation.
We all seem to agree still that we are not in the final form of whatever the quote unquote NCAA is going to be, or whatever college football in particular is going to be. Everyone agrees on that, but everyone also knows what happens in the next several years is very, very important in shaping what is next, or maybe it just shapes what is next outright. And my issue or my concern, I guess, is that nobody's going to agree on what it should look like, or what it's going to look like going forward, which may lead to us just sitting in this horrible holding pattern that we've been in for a couple of years now, and we will just continue on that path for a long, long time. Like maybe this is the Final Four.
Yeah.
Like obviously it's not what people are wanting right now, but like I said, nobody's going to be able to get to the point where they will either A, compromise, or B, agree on what the framework of it should be going next. Even to the point where, people talk about the conferences, the Big Ten and the SEC breaking off, or whatever that is. Are they going to be able to agree amongst everybody in the constituents inside of those leagues that that's the best thing for each of those schools in those leagues? Or is the one school like Ohio State or Alabama or whatever going to power move their way into making all those things happen? I just it is a lot like politics in that way. It's just a complete stalemate.
To be clear, this bill wouldn't prevent any sort of super league from forming.
Right.
It's just to outline sort of the basis of general regulations that no longer seem to have any existence in the NCAA. I am curious, if you're power ranking stuff, what's the most important thing for you that gets solved, whether it's through this legislation or anything else? For me, it's eligibility. That's the thing that I just want hammered down, because then I can sort of work off of everything else. But when you can constantly have court cases determining whether this person is eligible and this person isn't, and it's just up to the whim of a judge who decides whether an injunction's granted to prevent a case from ever happening while this athlete is still, playing.
I agree.
That's the thing that so for me, some of this is if 5 for 5 passes, I don't know that I care about the rest of this as much. I'm not someone who's worried or wakes up in the middle of the night, or, whatever we determine that to be, 2 a.m.
Overnight,
in a panic about the fact that Ohio State might be able to spend more money than Purdue on college football players. I don't care. I've already accepted that that's sort of the way that this works. And maybe it's the nature of Major League Baseball. I've accepted that that's just how sports works in general.
It's an uneven system.
I'm okay with it. That doesn't bother me. I'm okay with the fact that Nebraska basketball can't spend what Louisville spends on basketball. I don't want that. We've had that discussion.
I agree. Yeah.
I don't need them to spend $20 million in basketball. I think it'd be idiotic, to be honest, if they did. So I don't care about that aspect as much, but for other people, they're really worried about that. I have never cared about whether they're labeled employees or not. It has never been a thing that I have ever cared about.
Agreed. Completely.
I think from a keep it simple standpoint, you'd like to avoid that, because that comes with a whole other subset of things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't worry about it. I think the athletes have never been treated better than they are right now. So I'm not going to pretend like they're some unprotected class that isn't getting enough.
I do wish there was some sort of limit on, or I think they tried to do that with the whole CSC thing and the NIL deals and the whatever.
Everyone's just going to circumvent.
I wish there was something like that to put in there. That way the spending on players didn't get so far out of whack and out of control that it completely, messes up the chemistry of everything else, whether it be football inside of its own walls, or just the athletic department and its spending in general. I wish there was something like that, but I also understand the challenges of trying to limit earnings potential,
Sure.
and I understand that that's a very difficult thing to swallow.
Well, it's just
and you're going to go to court every time and lose.
Right. I just don't know how you do it.
Yeah.
I think like the only limit that exists is the appetite that people have for wasting money on things.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're Kansas basketball at some point, how many times can you spend double-digit millions to not get out of the first round of the NCAA tournament?
Roasted.
So like that becomes the appetite of what you're willing to put up with. And I sort of view that as what the actual limits are in these things, because it can't continue for, in perpetuity. Like there will be a point where you cannot spend more money on a roster. One, because you just can't, like
I have no idea. I thought that, but I never thought players would be getting paid million and then millions and then, dozens of millions. And then,
I don't know if anyone's at dozens yet. I think we're like 8 are high.
I remember it was amazing when Alex Rodriguez got his $250 million contract.
Sure,
I'm like, whoa, that is a little crazy. Come on. I mean, we got $500 million guys and stuff like that. That was 20 years ago, and it's doubled.
Yeah. Still an ocean of difference between college sports and
I know, but it's jarring,
Yeah.
And it changes pretty rapidly, it seems.
It does.
I mean, they even said it for the college basketball portal last year. The price went up
63%.
Yeah. That's a big percent.
Not right. And I guess my bet would be that it can't continue to go up in 63%.
Probably not, but it probably keeps going up incrementally year by year, not 63% every year.
Somewhere though. Like, that's the part of this where it's like at some point.
But the problem is somebody somewhere is going to come up with it, and it is that team that defines the market. It is that person that defines the market, and his name is Cody Campbell. Or whoever it might be at whatever school.
Well, they have no titles to show for it. Yeah. Like, that's what I mean. At some point, if you don't have anything to show for it.
It's not going to stop them from spending.
Yeah, maybe.
They have an unlimited waterfall of money.
There's a limit for everything. We haven't hit that limit. We don't know what it is yet.
Yeah, I don't know how close we are either.
Well, that's what we'll find out.
I hope we do find out. I hope Cody Campbell one day says, that would be awesome. That would be hilarious.
Like a $70 million roster that still doesn't win the college football playoff.
That would be really, really funny, and I hope that happens.
It's possible.
But I guess we'll see. All right, we solved nothing yet again in college athletics.
The annoying story continues to be annoying.
The annoying story continues to be annoying. We'll come back and round out the hour. I do want to remind you first that we continue on with Mega Deals Week on 1620 The Zone, a different half-off deal every day. Today's deal will be for Hillside House of Hell. 2 GA tickets for the price of one. That is an $80 value for only $30. Can you believe that? I mean, that's better than what we're actually describing it as. One night only. June 27th. Tickets will sell out. Fright Night Fireworks returns with the following included with your ticket. I mean, there's plenty of different things. The haunted house, live music, live wrestling, car show, epic fireworks show, all these different things in Glenwood, 25 minutes from downtown Omaha. Get the deal now. 1620thezone.com.
Good luck with that, Dan.
The Oklahoma contingent of celebrities was it kind of grew last night. So here's a look at the early stages of it. This is from my phone last night. If you're watching along with us on YouTube, there's Barry Switzer in the white shirt. So that shirt is like one of his coaching shirts from the 80s. On the shirt, it's got the two stripes on it, and it says I believe it says Switzer. Hold on, I'll get a higher res version of it. Yeah, it says Switzer in cursive with the Oklahoma on there. He's got his blue jeans on. Earlier in the week, or maybe it was Saturday, he was wearing his like old Dallas Cowboys coaching jacket. Looked like it was team issued. Like, I'm the coach of the Cowboys. This is what I get, which was absolutely fantastic. Then you had there was 3 Oklahoma football players that came down on the field. One of them was John Mateer. He was very excited about what Oklahoma was about to do. I believe Toby Keith, the late Toby Keith's wife, was down there. Then you had the who else? Porter Moser, the basketball coach. I didn't see Venables last night. I don't know if he was out there
earlier in the week.
Yeah, he was, but so was Porter too. Maybe Porter State. Obviously, he's got some
Omaha connections,
Omaha ties. So maybe he found a place to hang around or something like that. But I think Barry Switzer went to every College World Series game, which is wild.
He loves Nebraska.
He loves Nebraska, and Nebraska, they like him better now.
They certainly like him when he's not coaching and telling stories about the good old days, because it reminds them when Nebraska was good in the old days.
Well, I mean, maybe that's a good reminder.
Yeah, no, it is. It's just he can't hurt you now, so you like him more.
I think so. I think there's some truth to that. And as we all know, it's a rivalry built on respect.
So they say.
Matthew writes in, he says, celebrities, I think they were just former coaches, players, and alumni. Says the Boz was there, and Barry enjoys the downtown scene. Yeah, no, I mean, Kyler Murray was there earlier in the week.
Very cool.
Yeah, so a variety of different, who's who with Oklahoma people.
ESPN was showing Eric Church a lot last night.
Eric Church told me a couple years ago when North Carolina was last in it. So I guess I can't remember the exact story, but he had split allegiances with North Carolina and Tennessee. I don't believe he went to North Carolina. I don't know. I don't know if he went anywhere to school, but he had split allegiances with North Carolina and Tennessee, and he told me that. But he's always shown up in a North Carolina shirt.
Yeah, he was in one again last night.
Yeah, he was rocking and rolling and ready to go. I didn't see many of the North Carolina brass. I mean, certainly. No,
we did not see Jordan Hudson.
No Jordan. No Jordan.
No Coach Bill. No, was Mike Malone? Did Mike Malone show up
earlier?
Okay,
last week. Yep. I think Roy may be earlier as well.
A lot of times schools will take like a contingent of their dignitaries out to these things. Yep. Nebraska has done that for various events where like Danny Busboom Kelly and Matt Rule will jump on the plane to go watch basketball or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of how you end up with a lot of the coaches sort of here.
And one of the cool parts, I mean, obviously it wasn't all, we didn't get a great game last night, but like I said at the start of the show, you did have the sort of lead in. And so you have this sort of build of energy, and I'm sitting right next to the dugout. And all of a sudden, there are people in the dugout who are not baseball players and are not baseball coaches. I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool, and it's community, and it was Oklahoma. So congratulations to them, and the celebs came out, and we will talk about what it means that they won a championship coming up later on in the show. Back after this on 1620 The Zone. 7 o'clock here on Happer and Schaefer, 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com. Speaking of 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com, we are giving away pairs of tickets to the Omaha Storm Chasers game. Yeah, start getting ready. Start thinking about what goes on the 4th of July. And you know what goes on the 4th of July and the 3rd of July, by the way. Baseball. Baseball at Warner Park. The Storm Chasers host Indianapolis July 3rd at 7. We have tickets to one of those huge days of Freedom Weekend. Salute to America. Unsportsmanlike conduct will have your chance to win tickets to the July 3rd game all throughout the show this week. Start thinking about it. What's your cooler situation looking like? Start dusting it off, get the power washer out. I don't know.
I was thinking the other day, I was kind of organizing my garage. I finally got stuff to hang up my actual tools. So instead of just leaning against the wall, they're hung nicely on the wall.
I'm right behind you, man.
And by finally, it was the Father's Day gift that I received, the fast rail system to put stuff up. It's nice.
Genius.
I like it.
I was just talking about this yesterday.
Yeah. Garage organization brings, harmonious peace.
It's a huge goal. Yeah.
So I was looking at my cooler situation. I have quite a few coolers. I don't know if I need this many coolers.
No, you really don't. You only need like 2 coolers.
So it's like I have a soft collapsible one that's big enough to take like if you're doing a picnic.
Yeah,
that kind of thing. So that's good. And then I have the Yeti cooler if we're doing like a big long trip. We've used that for road trips. It's been nice, whatever. But then I have all these other little coolers that I don't know, or cooler bags. I think I just need to get rid of them. I think that's the decision that has to happen.
Well, depending on the quality of the cooler bag. I mean, I do like to save those hot cold bags.
Oh yeah,
that you buy for like $4 when you have them in a pinch. I do like to have those, and they have proven to be useful a couple times, but you don't need more than one.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I do love to just load up that cooler full of ice on the 4th of July or around the 4th of July.
You still have your ice maker?
I have the ice maker.
Do you still need it, or do you have the refrigerators now that make their own ice?
I do have. I always had a refrigerator that made its own ice, but I like the ice that the ice machine makes better. But the ice that the ice machine makes is not what you would fill a cooler with.
It's for your drink.
That is for my drinks.
Okay.
Yes. So I would have to go to the gas station
buy the 20-pound
separate
bag,
trip for the 20-pound bag of ice, of course, to fill up my cooler that I will use for a day and drink 4 drinks out of, and that's it. But man, I love packing a cooler. I really do.
Some men talk about like how their wives, when they travel, like they overpack on the trips that they're going on and everything. And I feel like I will go to someone's house, bring a cooler, bring way more beer than I ever intend to have there.
Absolutely.
But on the off chance that someone else needs beer.
Or if everyone wants to drink 8 beers apiece.
Or if it's just like I decide partway in, we're going for it.
Uh-huh.
I don't ever want the experience where I go to the cooler and I'm out. And then I either have to bum beers off of somebody
or make
a
run.
Just have to be done. Or I have to go to the store in the middle of something going on. So I'd much rather overpack on beers. But that's effectively what I do every time we pack.
You bet.
Am I going to have 6 beers? Maybe. I'm bringing 10.
Unlikely.
So like I'm almost doubling the amount that I think I'm going to have in the off chance that I just go.
Yeah, but I'll tell you this though. Along those lines, there's a 0% chance I'm going back out to get more beer. Like I'm getting what I'm getting, and therefore you're getting a lot to start with.
What invariably happens though is like I usually keep the beer in the downstairs refrigerator. When we come back from a party, it all ends up just being put in the upstairs one, and then like it doesn't get consumed as much there.
Sure.
For whatever reason.
And that's your beer sits here fridge.
So then it's like the next time I go somewhere where I have to pack, it's just I take all of that beer first, hopefully.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
And then you could just, it's basically you don't have to create another cooler out of thin air, which is great. There's a system about it. There's no doubt about it. People are sitting at home or sitting in their cars right now. They're like, yeah, I got these guys. I know what they're talking about. I feel you. So get ready. It's right around the corner. So let's play the game of, once again, what did we learn from this championship? Mm-hmm. Every time a champion is crowned, whether it is in college athletics or sometimes in professional sports, we can apply some lessons as well. We like to say, wow, blank team should be inspired by this because it shows that a team like this can win a championship, or a team built like this can win a championship, or or just some lessons that you could sort of extract from it and say, they did it this way, and that led to them winning a championship. Now, admittedly, this entire process is completely flawed because for a variety of different reasons. First and foremost, with this particular championship team in Oklahoma in baseball last night, if you aren't aware, Oklahoma won the national championship last night after being the 11th place team in the SEC, a 2 seed in the regional, and making a run all the way to and then through Omaha in dominant fashion, only losing one more game along the way after losing to Georgia Tech once in the regional. That all happened. It's flawed first and foremost in this particular case because of the sport that we are playing. It's baseball, and baseball is a weird one. And I will say that there are some truths about baseball at the collegiate level that make it a little bit different from some of the other sports that aren't just it's baseball related. I think Oklahoma, the amount of teams that have the requisite talent to win a national championship are larger in baseball than they are in football and basketball. If we're just talking about those three sports, that's my opinion. I don't know if you agree with that. But
yeah, I mean, I think that bears out pretty heavily. I mean, we've seen Coastal Carolina win a national championship. A school of that size has no chance of winning a football championship, and a basketball one, the closest anyone's come is Butler.
Right.
And so it's not to say that you can't reach the Final Four. It's not to say that you can't get to the championship game. It's to say that it's much, much, much harder to do in basketball than in baseball.
So what are the things that you need to do in order to win a championship really at every level? You have to have a lot of things come together for you. First and foremost, you have to have the requisite talent. You have to get lucky. You have to be hot. You have to do all these different things, and you have to do them all at the same time. And while Oklahoma was definitely, they definitely had some breaks go their way, and they definitely were hot. Most importantly, the thing that I think is being ignored with them is, or by the general public, maybe not so much for the folks who have watched it over the last 2 weeks, the thing that is being ignored with them, the general public, because of what their seed was in the regional and what they finished in the SEC, was they do indeed have the requisite talent to win a national championship. And they did before the year, they did before the regional, and all those different things. It's just, does that show up? So what are the lessons from this one in particular? Got to be honest with you, it's hard to find them.
Yeah.
I don't know that anybody should be sitting around today and saying, dang, that's our formula. That's our blueprint to win a championship. I really don't know that, or even if there's a lesson from it outside of, yeah, just because you're a whatever seed, you could win a title. I don't even know if you could take that from this, because this team was really talented and got extremely hot at the end of the season and won a national championship.
Yeah, you can't look at Oklahoma and be like, well, we want to model it off of this, where
Right.
effectively, you mentioned it, they finished 11th in their conference. So you have to start there. They didn't have a massive season, but they were good enough in a conference that's really deep to battle to get into the tournament. I mean, so you have to be good enough to get into the tournament. And then on top of it, you need your stars to show up. You need your role players to have moments where they play like stars. You get a guy like Jackson Willits, since the tournament began to where it is now, what his numbers look like, just his batting average alone. He's just pummeling the baseball.
Yeah.
And that was a guy who was good for them earlier in the year, but wasn't playing at the level he's at now.
And then had an incredible College World Series.
Right. And so you have that
most
run.
outstanding player, by the way.
And there's even inside of it where it's like, well, they're really good at putting the ball in play. Yeah, that's true. They also struck out 30 plus times across 3 games. They strike out a lot too.
Yeah.
They also, when they put the ball in play, they put it in play with authority.
I will say this about them though. They do play a style, and we often do too much with this as it pertains to the ballpark, I think, because I think things have really normalized there. It doesn't seem,
I do not think of that ballpark the way I thought of it in 2015.
It really doesn't seem that big anymore.
Yeah.
It's bigger than a lot of the parks that these teams play at, but it's not
which is good if you see how they
100%,
play.
100%. It's not oversized anymore.
No.
It was in 2011. It's not anymore. But about Oklahoma in particular, I just love their style. And I think it works in the postseason because it gives you lots of options to be able to win baseball games. You can lean on a variety of different things. And, baseball is unique because oftentimes these things aren't sort of happening at the same time. But you know how college basketball teams, they're built in a certain way. You're an offensive team or you're a defensive team, and you sort of grab that moniker and you sort of go with it. But what do we talk about in the teams that win national championships every year or get to the Final Four every year? You have to be top 20 KenPom offensive and defensive rating, right? So if one thing goes away on one bad night, then you're not completely screwed and you're out of the tournament. And ultimately, we got down to two teams in North Carolina and Oklahoma who were very, very complete. And they pitched it, they picked it, and they hit it. They did all those things, not only in the NCAA tournament, but throughout their entire season, really, as well. And that was a trend that I noticed in the preliminary games. The teams who made errors left.
Mm-hmm.
The teams who made mistakes on defense were short-lived in Omaha. And those two teams were the most complete ones. And I do think there is a lesson in there. And it's not just in baseball, and it's not just to this ballpark. That is a complete sports thing, in my opinion. You better have everything be good, at least. If not, everything be great. Because you can't just be elite in one category and bad in another, and then try to win a national championship, because the chances are your bad parts are going to be exposed.
I think the thing that Oklahoma did incredibly well, which is, you can't replicate it by just saying you want to do this. You have to have the ability to do it. They just constantly had pressure on teams right away.
Yep.
It felt like every inning, especially early in the College World Series, that Oklahoma was playing in a game, there was base runners on. And they put pressure on you because they can steal bases. They put pressure on you because they can move you over with a bunt. They put pressure on you because if they're not striking out and they're putting the ball in play, they're forcing you to field it. And then you're trying to turn two and you're rushing and you're not getting that done as you want. So then you end up getting nobody out.
Especially when they're up in games. I mean, It is absurd.
Well, and so part of it is they have kind of a unrelenting style about them that isn't all that common with baseball. Like, I watch my professional team fight, scratch, and claw and score 1 or 2 runs. And then their reaction is, well, our pitching is so good that the offense, they don't have the same at bat. Like, it's like they juice up for the moments where they have to. And then the next 3 innings, they'll go 9 up, 9 down, no problem, because it's the way they play. Oklahoma, it's like they get that first run and it's like they drew blood and they want more. And they just keep working and working and working.
They definitely have that red. Look at their coach, right?
What you're describing, like, if you're a Nebraska baseball fan, the talent level that Oklahoma possesses and where Nebraska's at, there's a pretty big gulf there. But the way that they play and the way that Will Bolt had Nebraska playing this year, there's a lot of similarity there. The scale is just very different in terms of the talent that they had. Now, Oklahoma also got guys that underachieved in the regular season or struggled that then continued to play better, and the confidence that group had. Like, dudes are just showing up. It doesn't matter what their ERA is. And they're basically like, here's my best stuff. Let's see if you can hit it. Like, that kind of team confidence that they had, that's what was rare.
I also think they have, Skip Johnson has been a well-respected guy in the game for a long time. Long-time Augie Garrido assistant, got passed up for Texas and then ended up at Oklahoma. So he's this rare combo of you could obviously see that the team, first of all, loves him and then sort of mirrors him as far as their personality is concerned. They go about their business quietly, confidently.
They weren't that quiet.
They well, not late when they were up 9-1, but yeah.
Even before, like they're kind of letting people have it a little
Dane
bit.
LaChance was one of those guys that, sitting down where I was sitting basically the entire series. He would give some funny glares over to the other dugout, but generally there was a sort of quiet confidence about them, I think, and that I felt the same way when they were here in 2022, when it was maybe even slightly more of an underdog story that they ended up where they ended up. But guys, obviously they were playing a bigger underdog story in Ole Miss, who was the last team in the field that year and ended up winning the national championship. But there's a style, there's a way about the way they do things, and it's kind of like you said, what Nebraska kind of created. There was a red assness about them and all that different stuff. What makes Skip unique is that you have this image in your head of a program that is built like that. And a lot of times that guy's skill set is not to develop pitchers the way that he develops pitchers. So he has this really unique set of skills and really unique repertoire of things that he could offer to a baseball team. Obviously, he has a great staff, but a lot of times, you have the old school kind of baseball guy and let's go out and let's just play and all that. And they are not elite developers of pitchers. Like the elite developers of pitchers, not to stereotype here, but I think about young guys who come from pitching labs and there's all these mechanical sort of, edges that they're trying to find in this new age sort of way to develop a pitcher. And I do think there's a ton of value in that. But that's not Skip,
right?
That's not who he is. He develops pitchers in his own way. Not that he doesn't care about analytics and technology and all those different things that are helping pitchers out these days. But man, he has done it and done it and done it and done it over and over again. And he's taken these guys with this sort of raw athleticism, put them on the mound, and trusted them and just tossed them out there. And that confidence that he's instilled in them obviously has a big hand in helping in what they do.
Well, and then it's even like in the game that they didn't win, and I think Mercurius is out there struggling in that third inning. Like he had the confidence to let him work through it.
Yep.
He didn't pull him until later in that game.
Cord Rager in game 1.
Yeah. Like you just, like the belief that he has in these guys. It's remarkable to me because Kyson Witherspoon was a first-round pick last year, and his brother was a good pitcher too. And so, like, they moved on from that to these freshman arms that are just pumping gas. And
Cade Horton was a sophomore in 22.
Whatever.
And he had barely pitched. He didn't pitch that much. No, he was an athlete.
I think part of it is they just identified, in some ways, guys that aren't being utilized by their high school team as effectively as they will be at the college level, which is kind of wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the beyond just there's just a talent difference there. I mean, Jackson Willits is a really good player. His brother was the first overall.
Yeah, they have great players.
Like some of it is that, but yeah, I mean, to have the freshman pitchers just show up and like, here it is, let's see what you can do with it, and to have the confidence to do that. That's incredible.
It really is. And so I think that's probably my biggest quote unquote lesson from this team. I don't know if there's one in how you build a team other than the complete nature of how they did it.
I think the style of which they played gives you an opportunity in almost any situation.
Right.
And again, this is a team that like they were dead in the water against Georgia Tech on the road and came back and won that game in a regional final on a Monday to even get to the opportunity of playing Kansas, who then they, from that point forward, they didn't lose again until the second game of the championship.
You know what's funny? The story would have been exactly, all the things that we've said basically in this segment would have been the exact same conversation had North Carolina won last night.
Yeah, a little bit different. They were a little less bludgeony than Oklahoma overall.
Yeah.
More kind of their offense picked their spots.
Less blood on their face, They kept on repeating it throughout the series. The Oklahoma players did. You got to like the taste of blood,
Yeah, that's how they played.
That is absolutely how they played. North Carolina was really, really tough. I mean, they were a tough out this entire series, and remember, they were basically dead too, down a run in the bottom of the ninth in the Super Regional in the deciding game against UNC. They came back and won.
No business being where they are.
Yeah.
Like, it just shows their professionalism of what they're able to do.
And their pitchers are great too.
The experience up the middle for them, you shone through. You could tell like those guys set the table of their offense. Very rarely did it feel like they got things done without that first group of hitters coming through for them. So part of their issue was the bottom of their lineup was nowhere near as productive as it was for Oklahoma, or it felt that way to me. And their pitching was good up until it met Oklahoma's, hitting. And then it was like it felt like we saw two different versions of North Carolina. There was North Carolina on their side of the draw, and then there was North Carolina trying to figure out Oklahoma's hitting 2 out of 3 games.
It was definitely a different deal on that side of the bracket. There's no doubt about that. Matthew writes in on YouTube. He says, is there more parity in college baseball, or is it the series type approach that helps instead of the one game and the one and done in football? Yes. I mean, baseball is just, that's why it's hard to take lessons from anybody winning anything, in baseball. When you get into a playoff format, especially when you get into a winner take all final, you know what I mean? Like, anybody could do that. Anybody could win one single baseball game. Remember that when your favorite baseball team loses on a Tuesday to somebody, it's 42 degrees next year. Just anybody can lose to anybody in baseball. That's a real life thing. So there's only certain things that from baseball that apply to other sports. But like I said before, the spread of talent is not as concentrated in baseball as it is in football. And it's less concentrated in football than it's been in recent years. Like that has already spread out.
Right.
In baseball, it's even more spread, in my opinion.
I'm sort of fascinated as we get deeper into the NIL era with baseball, if we see more have-nots kind of things emerging. Like we've talked about it in the Big Ten. There's a clear delineation of those who are even trying in the sport and those who are not. We know the SEC, largely all of those teams are going to continue to try, we assume, with the ACC and Wake Forest and Florida State, North Carolina and Miami. They're all going to continue to funnel resources into it. Virginia. Even Virginia Tech has become
Georgia Tech.
Decent. Georgia Tech is obviously very good too. So you have those two conferences where it's done at a really high level. Big 12, some of the teams in there, it feels like it really matters more than maybe with some of the others. But it's an interesting time for that sport. Like I was thinking last night when they brought him in, like if you're Caden Glauber, like what do you turn around and ask for financially? They needed you in every aspect of their postseason run.
That's a great question. I don't know what I assume North Carolina is fully funding baseball for scholarships. Well,
at the very least, he needs to have his entire ride paid for.
Yeah, right. So I guess I just don't know who is working. That's a great study for the offseason, like who's working with a full boat here and how much NIL is actually being, divvied out to these guys. Glauber is probably in the most powerful position in college baseball right now.
Well, if you're him and you're like, well, LSU's calling on this phone. Yeah. If you'd like to keep me here at North Carolina, we got to have a conversation.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that that's what's happening.
It doesn't feel like that happens much. And maybe we certainly just don't hear about it as much.
It's definitely less covered, but I'm sure it's happening.
And we're dealing with less money, obviously, as well.
Right. Significantly less money.
And he doesn't have much leverage because it's either he can't go pro.
His leverage is either I'm going in the portal or you're paying to keep me.
Right. I have no idea. What would the most valuable player in college baseball go for on the open market? Is it even $1 million? It's probably not even $1 million.
I don't think it's $1 million.
It might not even be. It might not even be six figures.
Least,
I don't know.
If you're him, you're probably at least hoping to get like $250,000.
Yeah. Which is pretty good.
Which is kind of amazing.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Think about the big men in basketball that will accomplish nothing that got $1 million to be the bench big.
He could use that on his trek through the minor leagues and buy some people some buffets, his minor league teammates or whatever, like in Jordan Rides the Bus. All right. We continue on. We have our power rankings with tiers. I do want to pass along one more thing in the World Series, or maybe we could spend some time on this a little bit later. Rusty Lord from WWT has a nice graphic up right now. No 90-degree days. First College World Series since 2019 with no 90-plus degree temperatures. I would assume that's at first pitch. I don't know if we actually hit 90 at all. The coolest College World Series since 2004. And the warmest high during this College World Series was just 85 degrees. And rain wasn't really an issue throughout the entire time. Nice job, Mother Nature. Well done. Back after this on 1620 The Zone.
Good luck with that, Dan. All right, getting back in the swing of things here on a Tuesday following the College World Series, but you could still enter online to the 1620 The Road Trip, which includes tickets to a Royals-Tigers game in August, 4 passes to Adventureland, $150 to Early Bird, 10 Wallies for a year, $100 Hy-Vee gift card. Enter online, 1620thezone.com. In honor of last night, Power Rankings with Tiers topic alert today is going to be ranking our favorite NCAA championships or college championships, I suppose we should say, because there is one that is an unsanctioned and, well, there is one that is not an NCAA run event, and that is the football playoff. Where will that end up on this list? Who knows?
Indeed. How many did you rank overall?
I threw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I did 8.
I think I have 12.
Okay. All right.
We're not too terribly far apart. At least 2 were thrown in here to make jokes. So.
I have 2 in my elite tier. I think they're pretty obvious.
I bet we have the same 2.
The Final Four in the College World Series.
Yes.
Yeah. In that order, by the way.
Same. And I think I just have the men's NCAA tournament.
The NCAA tournament. Really, the final. If we were doing just championships.
So I was almost going to text you, but the game was going on and I didn't really want to bother you. But to clarify, if we wanted it to be specifically the championship or the entirety of the tournament.
That is a more interesting.
Because we have probably opposing views on this. For me, often the NCAA tournament early is more interesting than it can be late.
I completely agree with that.
Oh,
actually.
okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm completely with you.
I would put the Final Four lower than the College World Series.
Me too. I just went with
off of just the championship.
I just went with for some reason I went with the branding or whatever. But yes.
Well, and I did 2 for one of them as well, but it's the entirety of the tournament.
Okay. So what are we doing? Are we doing the whole tournament?
The whole tournament.
Okay, the whole tournament. Then it's March Madness and the NCAA baseball tournament. Yes. Okay.
That's what I have as well.
That's in my elite tier.
I have a tier. It's called the best. It's those 2.
What about my second tier is the pretty good tier. I like this. I like these guys. I like this tier. The volleyball tournament.
Okay.
It's very good. The softball tournament, I put the Women's College World Series, but the softball tournament, and then the hockey tournament. The Frozen Four. Shout out to my hockey guys out there.
All right, I like it. So I have a single sport in the second tier, and this tier is called, and I like this, but this is just to make a very pointed joke here. Imagine if ESPN actually cared a little bit, and that's where the volleyball tournament goes, because their coverage of it is awful. They don't care. They stick the games at like 10 a.m. For the regional finals and other things.
The difficulty with volleyball and softball is that some of the matches in the games are in the very early rounds in the first round are just so bad. There's no chance of anything dramatic ever happening.
Get that.
Yeah.
When Oregon took Nebraska out in Kentucky a few years ago, weird sentence to say out loud.
Oregon took out
that
Nebraska,
game
Kentucky.
Was being played at like 1:00 in the afternoon and was a 5-set thriller that you could only watch if you had ESPN Plus, basically.
Tough.
Like for a sport that can be absolutely enthralling to watch, and I understand you can't put everything at prime time. They just like ESPN has the volleyball because they have the rights to all of the championships,
Correct.
But it's mostly so they can televise like the College World Series, the championship game of the NCAA tournament for the women.
I think they stumbled in. Honestly, I think they stumbled into the College World Series. I think they
used to.
Yeah,
they did because back when they were just buying up rights in the 90s, it was something to have on in the summer.
Is an add-on, and
there's a chapter in the ESPN book that's more or less like, we didn't realize this was going to be good.
Now,
the College World Series.
Credit them now. They put a lot into it now, but they definitely stumbled into it.
Right. And so I think volleyball is one of those things that's really good. They just don't do a good job of televising it. And they don't seem to care.
Would you like the volleyball tournament? Would it change the volleyball tournament in a discernible way if it was more like the basketball tournament where every game was a neutral site? Because I kind of like the regional sort of idea that they do with baseball, but and obviously there's a reason why they do it. It cuts on costs and things of that nature. I feel like
I've seen Nebraska lose at home enough that it's not such a massive advantage. But then there's also moments like when they were down 2-0 to Penn State. I don't know the year. They won the national title this year. But they were down 2-0 to Penn State at home, and they came back and won in 5 sets. And it's like the feel of that being at home made it
incredible.
So, there's that too. That tournament is so good.
Yeah.
And now it's one of those where I probably don't watch the other teams as much, but when it's on, my wife really likes volleyball. It's going to be on.
Or if you could go past if you could just get past the Husker part of this, like the drama of Texas A&M going into Nebraska last year and battling through all of that and winning in 5 is like absurdly good television.
Yeah. Agreed.
Absurdly
100%.
good television.
Well, I mean, I'll watch the championship even if Nebraska's not playing.
Yeah.
Because it's usually very good.
Definitely.
So it's an easy number 3 for me.
All right. Keep going. Where are we at?
I have another tier that's solo, and it's basically figure out your plan already. The college football playoffs that comes in at 4 for me. And then we'll go to good televised sports drama. We have wrestling championships, the Frozen Four.
Wrestling.
The Women's College World Series, and then I included the FCS playoffs here, football.
Oh, good one. Yeah, I didn't really think about that. I have another tier called haven't really dabbled, but I'm interested.
Okay.
I hear people talk about the track championships a lot.
Okay.
Now, probably not as a television product. I just don't know if there's a great way to do that, but
I'll tell you how there's a great way.
I wouldn't mind going there. I wouldn't mind going to Oregon and experiencing the thing.
So at my bachelor party, which was in New Orleans in 2021, we are at this bar. Like we've gotten away from Bourbon Street at this point, and we've gotten away from the other major one. And we're basically just like hitting dive bars at this point.
Love it.
And we're at this dive bar that has like open air behind you, like the garage window thing kind of opens up. It's like a corner bar. It's great. The track championships are on, and so this is this tier, surprisingly good for low stakes gambling. No one knows anything.
No.
And everyone is just picking someone in their starting line or whatever.
I got the green one.
Exactly. And we're throwing like next beer, like you're gambling with the person next to you, or it's a collective thing. It was
interesting
when no one has any idea who any of these people are or what they're good at, and you're just taking them at random based on their logo or colors. It was we sat there for 2 hours drinking at this bar watching the track and field champion.
That's great camaraderie.
And so every year it's happening, there'll be like a text amongst that group of people like, hey, this is going on. Anybody want to throw down a bet here or whatever? So that was a great time.
Terrific camaraderie with the gentlemen, with the fellas.
It was a good time.
And then I said the track championships, and then the College Cup is I've heard great things about it. The College Cup seems like a really cool.
What is this?
The College Cup is the soccer.
Oh, okay.
Final Four.
All right.
Which the soccer tournament is kind of fun because they play at home sites and stuff like that too. I like the idea of the soccer tournament as well. Haven't really dabbled, but I'm interested. And then my final tier is called Dumb. Stop changing stuff. That's the college football playoff.
My last 2 tiers.
Please stop.
If the local team makes a run, we have the women's NCAA tournament, which I like. Admittedly, I just don't watch.
The women's basketball tournament.
If Nebraska's playing, I will watch. Otherwise,
the women's Final Four is really good.
Is it?
There's a lot of talent, but the rest of the women's tournament is like before you get to the Sweet 16.
It's bad.
It's tough.
It's just uncompetitive.
Yep.
For the most part.
Yep.
Like very rarely is any double-digit seed going to beat.
I don't even know. There's been years where there's been very few upsets, seed to seed.
Well, they have a lot of years where you get your 4 number ones or 3 number ones and a 2 or whatever it is. So I have that in there. I have the bowling championships, which I will watch if Nebraska is playing.
Whoa, when are the bowling championships?
It's in the spring, I believe.
Nice.
So
shout out to bowling.
Like late April, May, somewhere in there. And then I have the NCAA soccer tournaments included in this. Like I've watched. Nebraska women had a run a few years ago where I think they played Stanford, and I was watching the
in bowling.
No, in soccer.
Oh yeah,
They're in
yeah.
the Sweet 16.
they
I think
made a nice
lost,
run.
maybe, or there's Elite 8 and they lost. And then the last one, the people who run the BTN are locked in the lacrosse champion.
That's right.
So
Johns Hopkins.
I have never watched it.
They're getting rolling. That's for sure. By the way, Mike writes in on your comment about the track championships. Mike says, bet-free Mike says, very problematic behavior.
It's a problematic group.
It's a bachelor party, I guess.
Take a group of guys to New Orleans, and if the worst thing that happens is that you're micro gambling on the NCAA tournament,
yeah, Mike,
seems
now,
pretty good.
Take that. That maybe it doesn't sound so bad now that Schaefer puts it that way.
I mean, there's a lot of other things that happened, but that was,
as far as on the scale of debauchery, it could be, it could be a lot worse.
Could have been a lot worse.
I suppose.
Could have been a lot worse.
All right, there you go. There's our championships. Hey, college football playoff. Fix it, or don't fix it, or don't do anything to it. Just make it better. So we'll continue on here. We'll have the headlines when we return. Mitch Sherman is going to join us in the 8 o'clock hour. Jacob Padilla at the 9 o'clock hour. We still have to talk about Dusty May and a variety of different things as we go on throughout the show today. We'd like to hear from you, 402-951-1620. Hit up the show that way or on Twitter on the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed at Happen Shave. We are back with the headlines right after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, let's round out the 7 o'clock hour with a couple of headlines from our good friend Joey. Joey, you've been quiet over there. What do we have
Yes,
today?
I have. The world needs more whimsy.
Agreed.
Giant banana car draws attention in a traffic stop near Billings, Montana.
The world does need more whimsy. Great quote from that guy. I'm interested in clicking on the headline for that reason. What else do we have?
Okay, headline number 2. Michigan man wins huge lottery jackpot after accidentally buying ticket. I hadn't been having luck with it.
Okay.
That's his quote.
So that just triggers me, probably.
Yep. I'm not happy for that Michigan man.
I think
One,
you go with the banana guy.
he's a Michigan man. 2, he won the lottery.
Banana guy, right?
Yeah, banana guy.
All right, this is from KBZK in Bozeman, Montana. Although the story comes from Billings or near Billings. A giant banana car traveling along Interstate 90 near Billings drew the attention of Montana Highway Patrol this week, but the traffic stop that followed offered a glimpse into the unconventional life of the man behind the iconic fruit-shaped vehicle. Once again, there's that word, iconic.
There you go.
That banana car is iconic. I'd never seen that banana car in my life.
Now another headline's triggering Connor.
For Steve Braithwaite, it wasn't a surprise when a trooper turned around and pulled him over on Tuesday while traveling through Billings. After more than a decade of driving the big banana car, a giant banana-shaped vehicle, he's grown accustomed to attracting attention. Quote, I would say for the first 8 or 9 years, I was probably the most pulled over man in America, Braithwaite says. This time, however, the stop wasn't just curiosity. Braithwaite was headed west towards Seattle. Wow, that's a long trip. When a trooper noticed 2 boxes were partially blocking his license plate, which reads split. That's funny. Good license plate. I see the officer go the other way and he looped around, and he actually had a legitimate reason for pulling me over. It was a fair complaint, but we had a good chat. No ticket was issued, but the stop gained attention after Montana Highway Patrol shared photos on social media, drawing thousands of reactions and plenty of banana-related jokes from commenters. For Braithwaite, those reactions are just part of the experience. No, for Braithwaite, that's the exact reason why he's doing it. Quote, driving around in a banana and having all these people, all these smiles and waves, it affects me. It actually does something fantastic. The idea for the vehicle came more than 15 years ago while Braithwaite stood in line at a gas station. He noticed a banana near the register and began studying its shape, imagining how it would roll down a road. Well,
now, as a man who once looked at fruit and thought, how far can I throw this? You have to appreciate his willingness to look at fruit and not just see something to eat.
That is true. We did find the answer to that question. It was a lime, I think.
I think a lime was you and Snow that I think was it
Tub?
Tab?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
Tub. And we went out one day to a field and we just
Chucked fruit.
it was very scientific. We just threw fruit. Yeah. Quote, I pictured it down the road, driving down the road and started laughing. Braithwaite recalled, I thought, if it makes me laugh now, I'm going to build it. Braithwaite began building the vehicle in 2008, spending weekends working on it before finishing the 23-foot vehicle in 2011. Underneath the fiberglass fruit is the bones of a 1993 Ford F-150 pickup truck. According to Braithwaite, other novelty vehicles have borrowed banana themes, but he believes his remains a uniquely big peel. Pun alert, folks. There are similar cars to where they've sort of made them look banana-ish, but this kind is the only one. There you go. The banana car, the big banana car, which is made out of the bones of a 1993 Ford F-150, is very unique in its own right. Well, nice job by Mr. Banana for bringing everyone happiness and smiles all across the country since 2011 with this banana car. If you were a cop in Montana, would you pull over a car that looked like a banana for no reason?
Well, the reason
Other than
was
it looked
the
like a
license
banana?
plate was obstructed.
That's true. But what if it wasn't obstructed and it was just a banana? Would you still pull it over and just ask the guy some questions?
I would hope not. You shouldn't just be pulling people over because you want to ask them questions.
I agree.
You should have a reason to pull people over.
Do you think the banana guy should start kind of going on a bit of a tour like the the Oscar Mayer Wieners,
It does make me wonder if the banana and the Oscar Mayer wiener have ever passed each other on a road.
That would be one of the most annoying, like if you were in the right and the wiener was in front of you, and then in the left, the banana was also going slow and you couldn't get by either of them. Now that would not.
And then
be
in
fun.
front of them was a wind turbine thing, that the extra long vehicle that, slows everything down.
Yep.
Yeah, that sounds like traffic hell.
Feels like that could definitely happen in Iowa or something like that.
The guy's originally from England. He's lived in Michigan the last 15 years or so.
He's a Michigan man?
He's a Michigan man now.
Ugh. Mike says there is a Ghostbusters car in Lincoln. That guy, I've seen the Ghostbusters car. I've seen the Ghostbusters car, and I've seen the Scooby-Doo
Yep,
van.
there's a Scooby-Doo van. There's a few different Ghostbusters cars, I'm sure, throughout the United States. But yeah, there's definitely one in Lincoln. There's a Scooby-Doo van in Lincoln.
I don't know what Omaha's most famous car is.
Oh, that's a great question.
Who has Omaha's most famous car?
People should send their submissions.
Yeah, let us know. Let us know about that if you have any ideas on what Omaha's most famous car or infamous car is or might be. Let's take a break. Those are the headlines. We will come back and have the 8 o'clock hour and onward for you next on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome back. 8 o'clock here on Happer Schaefer, 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Mike Schaefer, Joey Warcola with you this morning. Post-College World Series. Welcome to official summer, even though we declared it to be summer about a month ago now.
May 18th.
More than a month ago now.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since summer started for us, and since we've had our Beach Boys style theme song at the start of the shows, but it is now officially summer, with it actually turning to summer yesterday. And now the College World Series being over a day later, and we're just now we go to the pool. And
hooray! We're going to the pool?
We get to sit here and just talk about
We're doing a show from the Pawnee Plunge?
whatever it is we talk about. Just think about this, Schaefer. We're like a month away from Big Ten Media Days.
Wow. What an incredibly pleasant thought that is. A month from coaches saying absolutely nothing and people reacting strongly to everything.
So, I mean, I would agree with you that the worst part of the offseason actually starts then. This, depending on your perspective, could be the most fun part of the offseason.
Yeah.
The next month when there's nothing going on outside of the potential for either A, court cases, B, conference realignment.
Ooh.
Are there any threats of conference realignment that we know that are out there?
Nothing imminent.
No, but we didn't think that the Texas-Oklahoma one was.
Sure.
That happened a few years ago. We didn't think that the USC-UCLA one was, and that one kind of happened, although we had a better idea.
Background of that, and then it finally came to fruition, but yes.
Where is the Big Ten Media Days taking place?
Chicago.
We're back in the Hilton.
Yeah, the Hilton.
I wonder if there's any particular
Back in the Fugitive.
West Coast teams complaining about having to be over in the Midwest, like we had from James Franklin in Vegas last year.
Was he mad about going to Vegas?
I thought it was James Franklin that.
Jim Franklin, I don't think cares for the Big Ten Media Days at all. He famously would bring his punter and kicker as his player representatives.
I remember.
At least
having,
I thought
significantly better options.
It probably was. Good thing James Franklin's not in the Big Ten anymore.
And then he's in the ACC Media Days. Where do they have those at? Nobody knows.
And there's
got to be Charlotte, right?
Ooh, that's a good guess. Atlanta would be the other guess, probably.
Well, it's either that or some sort of like a coastal, like a tropical.
Oh, Happer nailed it. It's Charlotte.
What's his chance if there's one Big Ten coach giving another 13-minute monologue just to answer only one question? I think we had that last year.
There's a lot of great games that coaches could play up there on that podium.
PJ Fleck is still in the conference. He'd rather be somewhere else, I think, but he's still in the conference.
By the way, couple thoughts from you guys on Omaha's most famous car.
Ooh.
Here is Terry on the Equitable Bank inbox. He says, "Hi guys, there's a Facebook group called Nebraska Car Spotters. The number one photographed car is a white dually Chevy pickup named Big Nasty. He can't go anywhere anonymously."
Big Nasty.
Have you seen Big Nasty?
I'm just going to Google Big Nasty.
That sounds like a Twitch streamer name.
It sounds like a lot of different potential things. Oh, there you go. I don't know that I have seen that before. What makes it Big Nasty?
Well, the back of the back windshield has Big Nasty.
That would make it Big Nasty. Yeah. Tough hang.
Wow.
Here is MB says, "I had a friend in high school who took the front doors off his car, drove around for a couple weeks like that. Of course, no one wore seatbelts in the 70s. So there was added edginess. The guy went on to own multiple successful bars in Omaha and always had unique themes and events. Those were the days. Unique cars turning into unique bars, folks. That's the way it always. That's the way it always.
There's some
goes.
Weird Wally conversation going on.
There is some Weird Wally
StreamYard
conversation going on in the chat right now.
Talked about Weird Wally a couple times this week.
They still. I mean, I hope the Weird Wally. May Weird Wally himself rest in peace. I hope the Weird Wally billboards never go away.
I
don't even know what the business is. Is it called Weird Wally?
Yeah, it's Weird Wally's car.
And I have no idea where it is. All I know is Weird Wally welcomes you to Lincoln. And I can think of no more appropriate.
Do you remember the
thing.
commercials? He was like arrested but wasn't wearing pants
Correct.
or something. Like it's just
Yep. For the record, I absolutely love and respect the bit.
Yeah, no, it's great.
I have no idea where Weird Wally's car shop is.
23rd and P, it looks like here.
Really?
So,
South
yeah,
Omaha.
and that's
I live near there.
yeah. If you took O Street between 27th and downtown, you would see it off the left.
That's funny. I didn't see any billboards down there.
I knew it was near downtown. I couldn't remember the exact address.
Huh.
There's been some shifting of what things look like over in that area where there's some newer, nicer buildings.
What is it? The telegrams?
Well, the Telegraph District would be south of that. So this is just north of it.
Okay.
Where they have
I get my Lincoln
that
game
Salt
right.
Creek walkway. They built that up over there.
Yeah.
So you
There's
kind
a
of
couple there was a brewery that's a little further west, probably closer to down.
Code.
So
Yes. Code would be south of it as well. That's in the Telegraph District area.
Gotcha. I'm thinking
that area has kind of popped up a little bit. There's some newer restaurants and things over there. I've gone to none of them. I know of its existence.
I gotta do maybe
I
that's a summer
my aloe
job.
box there when I left town.
Maybe that's a summer job. We could just go to Lincoln for a day.
Happer re-examines Lincoln.
Yeah, I got to see what's going on
as a non-resident.
And is it fit for potentially stealing Omaha's bid to the first four?
It should.
Exciting. We should put that in Lincoln.
What? This was the argument when it first, not argument. We both agreed on this. Lincoln should absolutely want this.
Absolutely.
It is a perfect thing for Lincoln.
And then Omaha can stay with its own thing and do its own thing.
Omaha gets its thing. Lincoln gets to be notable for the week or so that this goes on.
I don't see the downside.
You can mock them for it, so you win out of this as well.
It's a huge win for
Lincoln
me.
gets to host something, which is all it really wants.
I think so.
I continue to think it will never host NCAA tournament games for men.
Straw poll. I mean, I think there's some Lincoln folks in the chat right now. Mike is already one of them. He's like, yeah, I'm down. First four. Give me on the first four.
I was so confused when Omaha was a city from Nebraska that came up with this, because Lincoln makes way more sense to me. Lincoln seems like it could be the Dayton of
it would embrace it. It would actually perform very well, in my opinion, there. And it's a great arena for it.
They love college basketball.
But is there the hotel space?
It's always the question.
It's always the hotel.
They're building them. There's nothing in the bottom of them hotels, but they're building them.
Oh, look, Drake DeGrassi writes in. He said, I saw Big Nasty on Friday. You've seen Big Nasty, and you didn't realize it until you know to look for him. Now I will be watching out for Big Nasty. Shout out to Big Nasty.
Big Nasty's everywhere.
I know you're out there somewhere. All right, I saw a list. Would you like to participate in another fun list?
Ooh, we got another list?
CBS Sports has done a thing. This is from late last week. I don't know if you've seen this or not. 2026 Big Ten predictions.
Oh, no, I haven't seen it.
Projecting every team's final win-loss record and game-by-game picks.
Let's do it.
So oftentimes we do this, and it's not the record that is the most exciting part of this or the most noteworthy part of this. It is instead the who you beat and who you lose to, which is very, very fun. Would you like to guess what record CBS Sports predicted Nebraska to have in 2026?
7-5.
Wrong.
6-6.
Right.
Wow. Okay.
6-6. And the 6 on each side, really, I don't think will surprise you at all.
Okay. Can I guess?
You can.
All right. Ohio, win.
1.
Bowling Green, win.
2.
North Dakota, win.
3.
Michigan State, win.
4.
Maryland, win.
5.
Indiana, loss.
Yes.
Oregon, loss.
Yes.
Washington, loss.
Mm-hmm.
So then we go to Illinois on a Friday night. Loss.
Yep.
Rutgers, win.
Yep.
So there's your 6. Lost to Ohio State, lost to Iowa.
You got it.
I'm shocked. I'm really surprised. I can't believe it.
Hooray!
It's really confounding to me that they came up with this all on their own. How did they do it?
They have a crystal ball.
They're wizards.
Incredible. Well, I sure hope we still play the season.
Here's what it says about Nebraska. Matt Rule says he has stabilized the Huskers foundation, but hasn't beaten a top 25 opponent, and Nebraska plays a half dozen of them this season. Until there's proof on the field, expectations should be tempered a bit. Oh, they're tempered, Brad. Competitive stretches won't be enough in Lincoln if the win column stalls at 500. The frustration comes from familiarity for Nebraska fans, close losses, flashes of progress, and a finish that never quite matches the offseason expectations.
Good summation.
By the way, the season could basically only exceed the offseason expectations this year, right?
I would agree with that. Now,
I mean,
again, I also just don't see
theory.
a scenario where they're going 4-8.
Right? That's what I'm saying. Like in theory, it could be worse, but I think on the bell curve, the more likely is around 6-6, skewing slightly above it.
Yeah,
but that's all. And I don't think the floor is particularly low, considering you have 3 cupcakes on the schedule,
right?
Plus Rutgers.
I would, barring catastrophic runs of injury or whatever, I don't see the scenario where they're losing. Certainly don't see them going 0-9 in conference. I don't see them losing a non-conference game. So, using those two things as factors, it's hard for me to see them being worse than, like I said, 4-8 or 5-7.
It is a very interesting and different sort of setup for the season, at least how it stands right now, and certainly leave some room for flexibility when we get to August, because people get excited about it and all these different things, and maybe they'll convince themselves. As I say every August, the win total that you start August with is probably 1 win lower than the one you end August with, just if you're a fan and you're paying attention to it or whatever. So that is still the hype that is built into the general flow of the offseason here. But it is unique from this perspective as we see it right now. The expectation is about as, I don't know if it's as low for the season as it's certainly not, because I think there's been teams that everyone would agree have been worse going into the season than this one, than we're about to see. But I don't, once again, nobody has any daring dreams of going to the playoff this year. You know what I mean? So usually you can find that small sect of Nebraska fans who sits there as I'm pretty convinced. I mean, this is the year they're going to win 10. It's happening this year. They're going to get all the right breaks and all the right things are going to happen, and the quarterback's going to do this and that, and these guys that we've never seen play before are going to be good, and that's the reason why they're going to win 10 games. Nobody, I have heard from no one trying to convince me of that this year. That is different than in years past. So in essence, the expectation is lower, or at least more flattened, I guess, than it has been probably since I've been around. Every year, I mean, I've been doing a daily radio show in the state since 2015 for 10 years, for 11 years now. And I can't really recall a time in which there wasn't anyone trying to convince me that they're going to win 9 or 10 games.
So there's 2 years that come to mind specifically for me. I'm curious what you remember or what you think you might remember going into them. There was a ton of fervor for Scott Frost. I don't think the expectation was that they'd be a 10-win team in that first year, because you had a freshman quarterback. You're like, there's a lot that was coming to get. You didn't think they would start 0-6.
I remember the conversation being, we'll see what happens in the Colorado game, and then again in that Michigan game.
Sure.
Obviously, those both ended in their own versions of disaster.
How dare they forget about Troy?
And then, they lost. So very quickly that became lost.
Yeah.
So that, okay, good.
But there was definitely enthusiasm for the season, new coach, excitement,
and that gets mixed in.
It felt more like
I'm excited for Scott Frost,
that sort of thing.
Remember the line, you better get us now.
Yeah. And then the opposite of that would be 2022, where I don't think there was a lot of enthusiasm at all for what that was going to look like, because it was,
Yep.
Dead man walking was sort of how it felt the entire. There was maybe like people would talk themselves into Casey Thompson, Mark Whipple, that sort of thing. But there wasn't like this overarching.
There was a world where that could have gone
better.
Sure. Yeah.
But I don't think there was like
it was DOA.
It's not like 2019 where it's okay, the way the 2018 season ended, plus Scott Frost's second year jump, plus this,
I suppose we could throw in 20. Can we throw in 23 rules first year to the
I think there was the expectation they'd be a bowl team, but not a 10-win team.
Right.
So I think that one's probably fair too. But where things were really high, 2019, 2021, 2024, 2025. So those in particular, 2020 is a weird year. I'm just kind of throwing it out all together.
Yeah.
I think people thought that there was a lot of excitement because they would play anybody, including going to Kazakhstan, which turns out none of that was true. They'd rather play Old Dominion and Lincoln than going to, another country.
Who was it? Chattanooga?
Oklahoma. It was Chattanooga they were trying to play.
Yeah.
So you
not
have
in
that.
Kazakhstan.
So I would say like
Uzbekistan.
Kazakhstan's for Borat.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Nice.
So basically you have 2019, 2021, 24, 25 are your big hype years of the last.
Look at their 16.
Was huge. That was a huge hype year, and it lived up to it up until they lost to Wisconsin, and then the season fell apart.
People forget.
2015 was like a curiosity year, but the expectation is that he inherited this 9-win team. They should at least, be able to win the 9 games. They didn't. 2017 was a massive hype year.
2017 was, people forget, 2017 was a hype year for sure.
What's really funny to me, now that I'm thinking about this out loud, 2007 massive hype year, 2017 massive hype year, 2027 is going to be a massive hype year.
You're
either going to have Trey Taylor as a freshman quarterback.
27 is going to, as long as things don't go off the rails this year, which we both agree that we don't think they will, 27 is going to be a giant hype year. Yes.
Yeah. And we know how 2007 and 2017
which is weird because that is a world that is so difficult for me to imagine right now with the current, just how people feel about the current coach. But I do think it will be a pretty big hype year. Or maybe it'll be more of a it better happen now year.
A combination of those two things, certainly.
Yeah.
Definitely a combination of those things. Now, a lot of that for me just stems from I think that there's the world where Calandria is back for the 5th year when that gets announced, like the 5 for 5. I think Nebraska's defense is going to be good. Interesting to good. I'm somewhere between that. Like I struggle because then people are like, well, what do you mean by good? And then I don't know how exactly I want to define it. It's more of it when you see it kind of thing.
I got you.
And so then like you'll have these jumping off points of okay, and then you won't have the schedule that scares the crap out of you the way that this one does.
Schedule fearmongers.
So 2027 has like real hype potential.
Schedule fearmongers are going to have to take a year off apparently this offseason. Is that right?
No. They'll find there's other things to fearmonger.
I have no idea what the 27 schedule looks like though.
Well, let's look. This is not to say that the Big Ten won't definitely change it. They've only done that about 40 times in the last 5 years.
All right, so you got your Cupcake Nation. You got Northern Illinois, Miami, Ohio, and Northern Iowa. Look at that, Miami, Ohio, city of the day, Oxford. We can get Mr. Snavely back on. Big day for him.
Yeah.
You got roadies at Northwestern Ohio State, Washington, and Wisconsin. That's pretty manageable. You got home games against Iowa, Minnesota, Oregon, Purdue, and Rutgers. You're right. Yep. Not as much fear-mongering.
You just drop Indiana from the schedule and you swap it with like Minnesota and,
What happens if I'm excited to see
some really good road trips, by the way, on the 2027 schedule. You get Wisconsin again for the first time in a while.
You got the new stadium in Northwestern.
Yeah.
Very, very exciting.
That'll be a fun one. And then Ohio State, which nobody will want to go to.
Is there a world where now this is a way subtopic to a subtopic even, but what if Oregon becomes the Penn State of this year and they kind of just, they don't, not that Lanning gets fired or anything like that, but they're just not as good as everybody expected. They're their expectation is to basically win the national
I
championship.
love the
this
question
year.
of who's the Penn State of this year.
Mhm.
It's like I've got a couple guesses on that.
Oregon is like the 1-to-1 candidate right now.
Yeah, they have maybe the strongest scent to it. You get the returning quarterback, the high expectations, the coach that still needs to prove that he can win big games.
The program that is not, they don't. It's not like they're Georgia as far as their recruiting is concerned. Although they're very, very good. Just like Penn State was. That feels like a pretty good corollary. I'm not saying it's
Oklahoma
be the same
is
result, but.
my Penn State team for the year.
Ooh,
John Mateer, trash.
John Mateer, he's probably listening right now.
He might be
celebrating on Mike Fahey Street.
He should be out there chucking the pigskin, so he's better at it.
No, he was partying last night.
Well, that's not going to help.
He was literally in the dugout at the end of the game.
Was he allowed to be?
They got the whole Oklahoma contingent was. It was a wide mix of people. It was a wide mix of people.
Well,
I was like, I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden, John Mateer is right here recording stuff on his phone.
Wow.
He's like a foot away from Skip Johnson, who was coaching the game, calling pitches, and doing other things.
Do you
like
think
that.
John Mateer offered to call a pitch?
They were. I mean, that game got so out of control that nobody really seemed to care that the football players were in the dugout last night. Nobody seemed to care.
Understandable.
Yeah, I think so. So you're out on Oklahoma.
I'm out on Oklahoma this year. I don't believe in Brent Venables.
Anyway, would you like to know before we get to Mitch here some other projected records of some other Big Ten teams? Give me one.
Okay. Team that I'm interested in. Let's just go to Penn State. What do they do in the first year under Matt Campbell?
Oh, fun. Penn State.
What does CBS think?
According to CBS, Penn State's going 9-3 this year.
They have a manageable schedule
with losses to USC, Michigan, and Washington.
Oh, that's a good one. What about Kyle Whittingham in Michigan?
Michigan, according to CBS Sports, is going 8-4.
Okay.
With losses to Oklahoma, Iowa, Oregon, and Ohio State.
What about our not good friends next door at Iowa?
Iowa is going yet again 9-3.
Ooh.
And they are losing to Ohio State, Minnesota, and Illinois. Wow, that is a very manageable schedule for Iowa this year. Have we considered this?
Well, Josh Peterson's putting them in his college football playoff.
I could see that.
Yeah, I don't see it happening. Their quarterback situation is the worst in the conference. So they have to overcome that.
I mean,
it
has been for a while.
They have to replace a ton of their defense.
They started Deacon Hill.
They're going to go 8-4. It's just written in stone.
Indiana is going to go 10-2.
That's the most losses that Kurt Cignetti's ever had.
That makes the playoffs still probably, right?
10-2 and a 12 team probably
with
does.
losses to
Since
Michigan.
They're no longer Indiana. They're Indiana.
But they're beating Ohio State at home apparently, but they're losing at Michigan and at Washington.
Okay. Brad's getting interested.
There's no big
Michigan's beating everybody but going 8-4.
There's not like a whole lot of big swings in here, which is interesting. Minnesota 6-6, Michigan State 3-9, Northwestern 4-8, Oregon's going 11-1.
If I had to guess, you could probably line up what the record is very closely with what the over/under totals would be.
That'd be my guess as well.
So,
Lincoln Riley's USC Trojans are going 9-3 with losses to Oregon, Ohio State, and Indiana. Look at that. Nebraska and USC basically got similar schedules this year.
But they are not similar teams.
They are not.
They've only share Mike Eckler.
They do have Nebraska going to, with their 6-6 record, back to New York for the Pinstripe Bowl.
I can't imagine the fervor.
Joey, you're coming with. We can party with all the Knicks fans.
We sure can. When they're back to mediocrity.
All right, we'll be back with Mitch Sherman after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome back. More of Happer and Schaefer here on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, 8:30 on this Tuesday. The 2025-6 college athletics season is over. It's done. And it ended last night here in Omaha. We're joined now on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline by our good friend Mitch Sherman from The Athletic. Mitch, hello. How are you?
Hello. I'm good. A little tired, but still good.
Yeah. So it's all over. It's finally the college athletics season is over before it starts in a month and a half again. We're done with the College World Series that didn't see very many games that were decided by less than 5 runs throughout the entire time. Is there a big picture takeaway from that, or is it you're chalking it up to baseball, luck of the draw, that sort of thing?
Yeah, I don't think it's anything about the teams involved. We got the 2 best teams in the tournament, the 2 who were playing the best in the tournament in the final, and you would have thought that would have lent itself to more competitive games than what happened. I mean, there was a 4-3 game that I remember early in the tournament that was great. Seems like about a month and a half ago.
It does.
But it was nice. Felt like nail biting baseball. If anything, maybe it's that these teams, and you're talking about a couple of teams from power conferences with a lot of resources in the championship series. And I think I would like to see, and this is like in a perfect world, I would like to see them trust more pitching. I would like to see both teams, and it worked out better for Oklahoma. I would like to see both teams go deeper into their bullpens. I think a game like last night has the potential to break out when you do what North Carolina did, and it's rely on a really short group of a small group of relievers. And clearly they didn't all have their best stuff in the moments that mattered when the game was still somewhat close. But, they've coached a certain way and built their team a certain way that got them over 50 wins and to the final game on Monday night. So it's hard to argue with that. But all said, if you're going to have 34 players on full scholarship and these well-resourced teams, it stands to reason that you could find a way to be deeper in the bullpen. And I think in college baseball in general, it's such a huge thing to have a deep pitching staff, and there just aren't that many teams that go beyond 3 or 4 arms that they trust out of the pen.
Mitch, Happer and I earlier today ranked our NCAA tournaments and championships, and we both have the College World Series right there next to the NCAA basketball tournament. My question for you, though, would be if you could change anything with the College World Series or just the NCAA tournament for baseball in general, what change would you make?
Yeah, I heard a little bit of that, and I was thinking about how I would answer the question about ranking championships. So good topic. I would, if you're talking about college baseball in general or the postseason in general, there's not a lot that I would necessarily change about the College World Series. What happens on the field and what happens around the stadium and in the stadium is great. And I think it stands up even more as great when you compare it to some of the other sports at the top of the food chain in college, and the atmospheres around their championships. In the Final Four, the college football playoff, yeah, they're fantastic events, but you definitely still, even with the CWS having undergone a lot of changes 15 years ago, you still have a bit of nostalgia, and more of that has crept back in now that we're long settled downtown. If I'm going to change anything, though, about the overall sport or the postseason in general, I'm switching the postseason so that it's 3 weekends before the CWS instead of 2. And you stick with the format that you use during the regular season all through the conference season and play in 3-game weekend series. So, we've heard about this before, but instead of a 4-team regional, I'd like to see 2 weeks of 3-game series before the Supers, and then keep the Supers the same and the CWS the same.
You mentioned part there about how the downtown park has sort of changed things and what things look like now. I was curious coming into this series, Mitch, about what it would look like inside of the park, considering we didn't have a lot of the traditional sort of bigwigs that bring their fan bases and sort of provide this kind of like color for the College World Series, and yet we still had pretty good crowds throughout. It feels like one of those things that is becoming, I don't know, it's just automatic. You're going to have every game that's pretty full and well attended and supported, and now it's starting to feel like home down there after 15 years.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't think that was new this year. I think we got there several years ago. Maybe it was right after COVID. Maybe it was before that. For me, I think that was a turning point. That was remember that year, and I was walking up to the park yesterday, just looking at downtown and the people who were all around on like day 10 or whatever it is of the CWS, and how still the atmosphere felt like home, felt very good. And I just thought back for whatever reason to 2020, and when it wasn't there, and we had a June without baseball, and I think that made me appreciate more. It didn't matter the venue; it made me appreciate more that we have this event.
Yeah.
And
yep.
How incredible it was to have a year where it wasn't there, and what kind of a reality it would be if we didn't have it. So it's from that point on, I don't know that it really mattered where it was played, and it just as long as it was happening. And yeah, downtown absolutely has become like home during the CWS. There are still parts of the old experience that will never be recreated, but they've done a great job. Everybody around the ballpark of making this feel like something special, and I think we're there. And it can always grow. Like, it's continuing to grow in different directions out from the stadium to the north and in other ways. But yeah, they've found something now, and I think a whole generation of college baseball fans and Omahans are now growing up, and like, this is what they know. So it's fantastic.
This is more theory because I don't have like hard data to back it up, but it seems, despite the rhetoric of people being annoyed with all of the off-season conversations with various college sports and all, Happer and I had a conversation about the bill that's going to be seen in front of the Senate and everything else. Does it feel like college sports are more popular now? Like, it just seems like there's a larger degree of interest in almost all of this. I don't know that it's reflected in ratings, but it just seems like, and I guess it would be with women's sports because they're certainly on the way up. But not a great question here, but do you sense that college sports seem to have either maintained or even expanded on their popularity, even with all of the sort of annoying off-season conversations that we have every year?
Yeah. I don't think that the extracurricular activities, I don't think that the lawsuits and congressional involvement and escalating payrolls and coaches jumping ship for pro sports, I don't think all of that stuff has impacted fans' excitement when you actually get out in competition and play. Like, it's I mean, there probably is a threshold that you could get to where people would start to lose interest for whatever reason, some of which I maybe just mentioned, or other things that people could come up with. I don't think we're at that point. Maybe the closest thing that got us there this off season was the Brendan Sorsby controversy, but that ended in a short time. So that to me, like, was a real threat to disenfranchise people with college athletics. But if he would have been out on the field playing this year, but Maybe not. Maybe maybe it's immune even to something like that, zapping the excitement. But yeah, I mean, beyond that, beyond just the fact that I think people love their college sports regardless of all the junk on the edges. I think that ESPN and that network's commitment to showing and expanding the coverage of things like the CWS and the WCWS, and then even with other sports too, it's definitely notable and noticeable with volleyball in this state. Has done a lot to get people engaged and really excited. So if maybe it's just that there's more exposure or more people, but there's more people talking about college sports, about the championships beyond just football and men's basketball, I think now than there ever has been.
Mitch Sherman from The Athletic. You can check out all the dispatches from the College World Series over there. We'll get back to football soon. Don't worry, Mitch. We'll have time.
I'm not worried. Thanks, guys.
See ya, Mitch Sherman from The Athletic. It's good to hear.
Spoken by a man who knows what his future is.
That's right, man. We got a long road ahead of us. Why not just relax and enjoy the summer a bit? We'll take a quick time out, round at the hour after this on 1620 The Zone. Well, speaking of it being football season, not according to Mitch Sherman, by the way, but according to us, I suppose. Hey, by the way, I'm not trying to skip ahead to football season, but there's been this NFL topic that has just been sitting on our desk for a couple days now since we've gotten back to doing regular shows again. And I haven't thought about the NFL at all summer long. It's all Matt can think about. He's telling me about what the Bears are going to do. And
he and I talked a lot of NFL during College World Series shows, which is good. We both like the NFL. We both have opinions on the NFL.
I love the NFL.
So
hooray!
Yeah, exactly. You sounded very
hooray! I do love the NFL.
I know you love the NFL. You don't.
I love the NFL in a different way than you guys love the NFL, though.
You don't talk about it near as much or want to talk about it.
Nope.
So that's why I never know when I throw this stuff on there if it's actually of interest to you or if it's just like, well,
it's good for me to think about.
Okay.
It's because it makes me open up my brain on NFL topics.
Okay.
So
right.
let's do it.
So I wanted to open your brain on this on ESPN. Who was it? Ben Solak.
Oh, that's the Dots guy.
Yeah.
Mr. Dots.
Not a big Solak guy myself, but
Dots.
He
what do the Dots say?
He gave his 2025 breakouts and guys who disappointed. And so I wanted to go through this list on a few of them and see, like, do you believe in the breakout and what level do you believe in the breakout? Because some of it is, you think that guy's probably better than you thought now, but like, is he that good? So we'll start with this. Jackson Smith-Njigba.
Yes.
Do you think going forward, is it easy for you to put him as, like, with assuming health, a top 5 receiver?
Absolutely.
I agree.
Yep.
I mean, you could make the argument to me that if you wanted to say he was the best receiver in the NFL, I really, other than maybe Puka, I don't know that I have a ton of pushback on it. What he did last year was phenomenal.
I mean, that's the easiest. It should be the easiest one on here, I think. I mean,
I think he's the biggest breakout from last year.
Yeah, that was very much real, and he's going to be in our lives for a long time.
You know, the thing about him that I underestimate is relative to Jefferson and Jamar Chase and CeeDee Lamb, the other guys that probably make up your top 5 with Puka Nacua and Smith-Njigba. Maybe you want to throw in St. Brown there too. He's Smith-Njigba or JSN is the smallest of them.
Absolutely.
Like, so
him and Amon-Ra are kind of like the same type of guy. But we made this, we talked about this several weeks ago now, these sort of small, shifty slot type of receivers.
With smart offensive coordinators have figured out how to get them and basically mess with teams' zone concepts, or it's maybe harder to cover them
and
in some ways.
And don't get me wrong, those guys can win on the outside too.
Right.
It's just
this guy definitely
they're really dangerous when they're in space.
So he's an easy, you believe in it. Here's 100%. I think a tougher one. What about Daniel Jones? When he played last year, he was really good.
He was. It was
legitimately was in the MVP conversation. The Colts were one of the best teams in football. And then he gets hurt and it all kind of falls apart.
I always thought that the Colts were a good landing spot for him because of their experience with just the infrastructure of, like, it just always felt like they put quarterbacks in good spots. And they've had a lot of different ones over the years, but they do a lot of other things well or decently well to sort of stay afloat. They're not in a great division. Obviously, there's that piece of it too. And I definitely always thought that there was more to get from Daniel Jones because of the organization that he was playing in before. So I don't know that I would go all the way to breakout, but I am not, like, I think he's going to be a steady, solid quarterback.
Would you comfortably put him in the top 16, the front half of quarterbacks in the NFL?
That feels right without thinking about it. Yeah.
But you would probably stop short of saying top 12.
Probably.
So 16 to 13.
So like it's there's two sides of the same coin, right? Like, you can't feel great about that because it's not going to really do you anything, but you can't feel terrible about it because you have a steady starting quarterback.
Right.
So whatever that means, I'm kind of in on Daniel Jones.
I kind of want to call that range. I think it trends a little higher, like the Kirk Cousins range of quarterback, where you never feel like you have the best guy, but you have someone who's good enough for you to win almost any game you play in,
If
dependent on
things go
your
right.
team also being good.
Yep.
So, like,
we're not going to win a Super Bowl, but we're
what's
good.
funny is it feels like there's 20 quarterbacks that fit in that category at all times. So you have that. All right. Let's go to the other side of the equation here, and let's look at some guys who basically didn't have the big seasons that were expected of them. And are they,
are they dead?
Yeah. Here's the easiest one to ponder. CJ Stroud. What are we making of CJ Stroud? His playoff game, the last thing you watched of him was abysmal. He probably should have been benched.
My case on him is getting a little bit more difficult to defend admittedly. But I've thought with him that since DeMeco Ryans took over there's just something about playing quarterback on a defensive like a surefire defensive first team.
Mhm.
And I know he's got some weapons around him and he is undoubtedly regressed. But I know he's talented because I saw him play at Ohio State and I saw him in his rookie year. Like that wasn't fake. That really happened. And so it's the combo of the two, kind of like much like Daniel Jones, where it's the combo of the two sort of makes it go up.
Mhm.
I think the combo of the two sort of
Brings
is
him
not
down.
a good match for each other here.
I had such a tough time with CJ Stroud because I was convinced he wasn't going to be a good NFL quarterback. And then his rookie year, it was like I couldn't have been more wrong. And then now the 2 seasons that have followed, I feel like, well, I got this right. I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, I was the opposite. I was like, this guy's going to be good. I'm pretty sure of it. Then he was good, and now he sucks. And I'm like, I think I still have to hang on here. Like, I think I still have to hold the stock.
Would you rather have CJ Stroud or Daniel Jones?
On what team? It's complicated.
The Packers. You remove Jordan Love. You get the rest of that infrastructure.
Daniel Jones, probably.
Congrats, Joey.
This is terrible. That was a terrible question. I didn't like answering that. All right, more NFL talk to come, I promise. We'll come back and talk about Dusty May after this on 1620 The Zone. Welcome back. 9 o'clock here on the morning show. Happer and Schaefer, 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Mike Schaefer.
Do you think Joey would have been anti-Shaq? The Celtics getting Shaq in 2000?
Absolutely.
No,
He missed a lot of free throws.
I was for Shaq because Kendrick Perkins was unreliable.
Oh, you were on late stage Shaq?
Wow.
Yeah, I was in on late.
You wanted fat Shaq?
We needed a center.
And now you don't want skinny
And you
prime
still
Giannis?
need a center now, and the best center in the game you don't want.
This is basically
He's
like
not a center. He's a power forward.
He's not a power forward. He's prime Shaq, basically. And you're like, no thanks, he can't shoot free throws.
Can prime Shaq shoot 3-pointers? Giannis can, but he's not reliable there.
Prime Shaq was never shooting a 3-pointer ever.
If he did, it was a half-court shot,
Yeah.
and he might have broke the rim with too much force.
I just love the so I was explaining the tweet that I saw during the break, which was from one of the NBA aggregator accounts, which was the Celtics were unwilling to include players like Baylor Shireman and Hugo Gonzalez.
Good on the Celtics.
Okay.
Good on the Celtics for keeping Baylor Shireman. Good on them.
Okay. So Joey's point of contention you were talking about jump shooting. He must not jump shoot that much if he's averaging a 62% field goal.
I watched a lot of games with Giannis. And if he's shooting 62% with the field goals, the paint points count for that.
You get those
count for
points.
that.
They let you have them on the scoreboard, Joey.
There are potential reasons.
We don't need them.
Listen.
We don't need them.
There are potential reasons that you would not want to upset the apple cart and have 2 stars in your team and all those different things. I get that, and other trade options and packages are more attractive. Let me tell you this. The reason, or even one of the reasons why the Celtics did not trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo is not because of Baylor Shireman and Hugo Gonzalez.
No, it's not because
I
of those.
saw the Bill Simmons tweet. Look up Bill Simmons' Twitter now, Schaefer. It's great. There was a tweet last night during the game that I just happened to scroll upon, and it was regarding the very real Celtics hype for this Hugo Gonzalez guy who, hey, I'm not an NBA ball knower. There's no doubt about it. I don't know some of the deep cut guys in the NBA right now. I have never heard of this person. Never. And Bill Simmons is referring to him as if he was the stopper of the potential Giannis trade. He's like, look, this is real. This is they could not.
I'm just gonna say ... I would be absolutely shocked if Hugo was/is thrown into any Giannis trade offer. The entire organization is all in on him. Stevens probably the most. They could not be higher on him. I genuinely don't believe he's involved. Guess we'll see.
Incredible.
Give it time. They've developed a lot of great role players on the team.
I'm sure.
It's only his first year. Hugo Gonzalez is not a great offensive player, but he's a hard, gritty defensive player. He can play defense. He's made some crucial stops in the regular season. Yes, he can. I know that. Here's another component. Giannis is coming off of an injury.
Do you
want
of all of the things
Tatum
that you
came
have
off of
claimed
injury,
that you don't like
Giannis
about him? That
came
is the part that I most accept. Trading for a guy coming off an injury.
You get 2
is
superstars
difficult.
coming off of injuries.
Yeah, and he's in his 30s now.
Do you want to risk that? And the Celtics are smart enough to not go in their favor.
They are the smartest team.
Trust Brad Stevens.
So what are they going to do now?
They're going to get Robert Williams back. It's going to be a reunion.
Sounds like a team that's not.
Time
going
Lord
any
is
further in the
returning.
playoffs.
Get ready.
All right.
Get ready for Time Lord.
The East got better. Or are you worried about this? You have
No,
the reigning
I'm not.
NBA
The
champion.
Miami Heat is not going to the conference semifinals.
They had the NBA champs, the friggin' New York Knicks, man. You got to deal with those guys every day. You got to deal with Cat.
Okay.
LeBron's going to end up on the Cavs.
What's that going to do?
The Pistons are coming.
What is that?
He's a grandpa. He's a grandpa.
LeBron's better than Baylor Shireman.
LeBron is better than Baylor Shireman.
I remember.
We have someone disputing that LeBron is not as good as Baylor Shireman.
Baylor did have a stop against LeBron in LA.
We have Joey so wound up. I feel kind of bad.
I know,
about
I do
it
too.
because I don't have near the amount of care that he does. But
I'm just sick of this. I'm just sick of the years-long conversation of trading Jaylen Brown when he's not the problem. He's given a lot for the franchise. And don't forget, he was a part of 5 or 6 conference finals appearances while Giannis had 2 with his franchise.
Giannis was a finals MVP, twice a league MVP.
Jaylen Brown's a
one of the
finals
best
MVP
players
as
in the
well.
league. No one will remember Jaylen Brown the way that Giannis is remembered.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm just saying, like, Jaylen Brown is very good.
The MVP is always given to all these centers, the power forwards, the big guys.
Yeah,
except with exception to Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
and he falls down a lot to get his.
Yeah, that's true. We could all agree to that.
Hey, there was an article yesterday from CBS Sports, Matt Norlander, regarding the news of the day yesterday. Let me know how this hits you guys. Why Dusty May leaving Michigan and college basketball behind in June isn't remotely surprising. Not even remotely surprising, according to Norlander. He said, he wrote this. It was mid-afternoon on April 13th in St. Louis, 1 week removed from Michigan winning the national title. Dusty May was head down, texting one person after another and diligently trying to land his second big commitment in the portal. We were sitting in Josh Schertz's office in St. Louis. The reason for the unusual setting, May had flown into town that morning to receive the National Coach of the Year award on behalf of the U.S. Basketball Writers Association. I was peppering him questions on why winning a national title doesn't feel as sweet as he had hoped or believed it would. May should have been on cloud 9 after reaching the mountaintop of college basketball. Instead, he was like every other coach in the country, sweating out each hour of the recruiting process and hopping on multiple Zoom calls every day just to try and not lose pace. So he goes on to tell the story about how he was sitting there and he had to stop the interview mid-interview because he had to take this phone call and he didn't end up getting the guy out of the portal anyway. And he went elsewhere, or he's going to play elsewhere this year. And basically, this is the reason why nobody should be surprised that Dusty May is leaving college basketball behind to go to the NBA. Basically, in essence, college basketball sucks and you have to deal with this crap all the time. And the NBA has nothing like it. And you can just coach ball. This is a storyline that we have heard perpetuated over and over and over and over again. And I get it. People tend to get a little bit frustrated about the state of the game that we're in right now. May I remind you of a thing or two, though? Dusty May has left multiple jobs in the last multiple years, sort of in the middle of the night, taking better jobs for more money and things like that during the offseason and inopportune times. It's almost like, the thing that he doesn't like about college basketball, he also did and played the game. He had a multi-million-dollar roster full of transfers this year. And he's like, actually, I don't really like this whole racket. I'm out of here. I'm going to the NBA. Bro, you did this. You did this.
What cracks
Why
me
does
up?
this have to be a thing anytime any coach leaves anywhere?
What cracks me up when we get stuff like this, or you get Nick Saban, pontificating about how much better everything was when he was coaching because it wasn't like this and yada, yada, yada. What do you think the money's for?
That's what the money is for.
I know you haven't watched the show, but
I've seen the clip.
Every time you get one of these things and it's like, this coach is tired of what's happening in the sport and has to do this and has to do that. And it's like, that's what the job is. You knew what it was when you signed up for it. When you were a wee little lad and you decided you wanted to be a basketball coach and you wanted to do it at the highest level or one of the highest levels, you understood this was part of it. This is part of the job.
I would offer.
If you don't like this part of the job, I have a wonderful solution for you. You can leave and you can go coach somewhere else. If you only care about the coaching and the spending time with the guys and really developing the game of basketball, and you don't want to do any of the other stuff, you've made millions of dollars now. You can just simply go away
and many
go
coaches
coach
have
high school basketball.
But here's the funny thing about May. Part of the intrigue to him and his skill set on this very rapid ascent that he's had over the last handful of years now is wrapped up in this.
Yeah.
He has had his success exclusively in the NIL transfer portal era. I mean, every other coach that has gone off into the sunset and said,
I don't know what it was like at FAU prior to, I don't know how he assembled that roster. It was through transfers. I don't know how much was NIL based.
But most of the other coaches who these great coaches who have won national championships and they're legendary and they're in Hall of Fames and whatever, and they have their numbers in the rafters, all-time wins leaders. They've gone off and they're like, yeah, I just don't like where we're headed here. And they go and they retire. It happens. It's happened a lot. None of them exclusively had success in the NIL transfer portal.
They had it before this.
That's why this feels, and they were able to still, because of the prestige and all that stuff, have success post NIL transfer portal era as well, or during it. Most of those coaches have. Some of them weren't. Some of them left before it because they knew the way it was going and stuff like that. It just comes off as weird from Dusty May, who seems actually very well equipped for this. He seems very well built for this. I don't know him on a personal level, but it seems like he was doing just fine with all of this stuff. He was playing the game and won a national championship this past year. And yet the line that we have to hear is, it's just not, I just don't like where the college game is at right now. Why can't it just be, I want to go to the NBA because I want to challenge myself and I want to coach the best players in the world. I got a chance to coach Cooper Flagg. He might be a top 5 NBA player in the next handful of years or whatever it is. Like, that's cool. You could say that.
Yeah.
It just sounds so weird coming from Dusty May.
Well, it's also just like, Dan, you don't hear Dan Hurley complaining about these things.
He doesn't. And I tell you for sure, for certain, he don't like it. He hates it. He hates where we're at right now in college basketball. Right. But like you said, it's not like he has to spend 100% of his time talking about it and thinking about it and resenting the game. Yeah.
And again, if you don't want the job, I totally respect that. I get it. I don't think that I would want this job, but it's also not the one that I chose to go after. And I'm also not paid a very large amount of money at a public institution to then be involved with this. Like that's part of the whole thing. I don't know. At some point, this idea that all you are is a basketball coach is farcical. Like, it's just not, that's not what this is at this point in time. It's like when Bo Pelini would be mad that there's public appearances involved with being the Nebraska football coach. What did you think you signed up for?
Yeah.
That's what this is. The other aspect of it is a lot of times the people who end up in these positions, and I think Dusty May is super like, he has to be involved in all of it. It's not like he can delegate this.
Yeah.
His brain won't allow him to do that as much. So then he's burning himself out on it too. I wouldn't be surprised if he's not an NBA coach that long and he ends up doing what Brad Stevens is doing and he's involved in a front office.
Or John Beilein, he was at a different stage of his career, obviously, but it was weird when they won a national championship. He jumped to the NBA, got fired before the first season even ended.
They didn't win. They played for a national title, right? They didn't win it. This is Michigan's first win for a national title in a long time.
Oh, yeah. Played for a national
Yeah. With like
Trey Burke?
With Trey Burke. Yeah.
Yeah. When they lost to Louisville one year, and then there was another season. I think they lost to Villanova. They got blown out in that one.
Okay.
So it was probably after that one that happened.
Yeah, it was 2019 when he left.
Okay. Yeah. So that wasn't Trey Burke. Trey Burke was 13. I think.
That was the Trey Burke, Spike Albrecht.
Nick Stauskas.
Stauskas would have been on that. Who's the big man? Mitch McGarry. Does that sound right?
Oh, good one. Yeah.
I think that was that 2013 group.
Nice.
But yeah, Joey's right. It would have been the 2019. They lost to, I don't remember it being Villanova.
So
yeah, it was their second one. It was when Villanova blew them out.
Here is more from the Norlander story. May told me he aspired to be a coach in the NBA someday. He craved to know if he could do it and felt compelled to eventually find out, especially if the state of college basketball was going to be perpetually chaotic. I left him wondering how long it would take for that day to arrive. Forget 3 years. He didn't even last another 3 months. There's another thing that happened from that day that explains so much of why one of the game's best coaches is leaving the sport. And then he goes on to explain about the meeting and the phone call and all these different things. He says, scenarios like this are as much of the reason why May wants out as anything. Yes, there is a temptation of the NBA and all that comes with that too, of course, but it was much more difficult to recruit a national championship winning program than I think anyone at Michigan thought it would be, even as well resourced as they are. And so that's why May is taking a chance on himself and going now. He's doing this knowing full well he'd have a very good shot at other opportunities, potentially even better NBA jobs in 2027 after what would have likely been a successful follow-up season to a national championship run. Yeah.
I guess there's just a part of me that's like, if you're unhappy with this, go find your happiness elsewhere. Don't try to drag everybody else into you being unhappy.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about all of these coaches when this comes up.
Yep.
I can respect that you may not love where the sport is at. You don't have to get on your pulpit and talk about it all the time if you're Nick Saban. You can also be honest and admit you don't like where it's at because by the end of it, you weren't where you wanted to be, which was at the top. And the sport had toppled. And he will never admit that because he's Nick Saban. But I just I'm so uninterested in it. You get paid a lot of money to get to do this. If you don't want the job, don't take it.
Yeah.
Like there's lots of CEOs that run corporations that have to be on their phones and work all the time. And they get paid the money to do it. They probably don't love it, but they're doing it because that's the job.
Yeah. And then when they get sick of it, they stop.
Yeah.
And
they get fired.
They get fired.
Either way.
All right. Let's take a break. We'll come back with Jacob Adele. We'll have more on this and the draft tonight. Yeah, that's right. The NBA draft is tonight. That's weird. Back after this on 1620 Zone.
Go, Pack, go. Go, Pack, go. Go, Pack, go.
Jacob Padilla, Herd at Sports, your source for Creighton hoops and Packers banter. Jacob Padilla on Happer and Schaefer, 1620, The Zone.
Well, from Aurora, Nebraska, to holding up a potential Giannis Antetokounmpo trade, this is the story of Baylor Shireman, as we're joined now on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline by Jacob Padilla from Herd at Sports. Hi, Jacob.
Hi, Connor.
What a story. I just came up with the name for your new book.
Yeah, I mean, we already did the first Baylor Shireman little mini doc. I guess we can start working on the second one now.
I think so too. And the draft night one, right? That was good.
Yeah. Team did a great job with that. Kyle's awesome. But becoming Baylor. So now I got to come up with a title for the sequel.
Boston's Baylor.
Befriending Brad.
Befriending Brad.
If you want to stick with the alliteration or whatever it is, you could do one or the other. All right. How big of a day is this for you in your sports calendar with the NBA draft coming up to tonight? We've talked a little about it leading into it with sort of the top three, and then you kind of go on from there. Is this a day that you mark off in the Jacob Padilla sports calendar?
Well, it's not as big as it used to be because my team traded all the way to their picks for a decade. So the excitement level is a little higher. Like, oh, yeah, it's cool to see where all these guys go, but none of them are going to my team. So you have to wait till picks. Actually, we'll have to wait till tomorrow unless the Suns somehow manage to sneak up in the first round, which I don't think it's going to happen. So going to be waiting a while, but I do enjoy. There was a time where I kind of got even deeper into it back in my blogging days, and where I did a lot of like breakdowns and I did my own mock draft and stuff. I don't follow it like that anymore. I do listen and read a lot of stuff still to kind of keep up with it and get a good feel for the prospects and kind of what's going to happen once they enter the league, like what the impact they might have. But it's not unfortunately not it doesn't impact me personally as much as it used to.
So after you get past the first three, and I know that last week I was asking you and we were talking about Boozer, and I know that you kind of scoff at the idea that he has a less upside than the other two. Let's throw the first three out. Who interests you the most kind of out of that next group of players that can include anything from like Keaton Wagler to Caleb Wilson to Acuff to Michael Brown? Like what intrigues you? Who do you sort of believe in the most out of that group?
That's a fascinating question. I think what interests me most is just kind of, I mean, we're starting to see some of these mocks solidify kind of the order of those guards. I am fascinated to see how the league views like that whole group of like 5 point guards that is next after that top four. And just kind of the order. All those guys are really interesting. Each of them has a kind of a big flaw that you're like, but everything else they do is really enticing. From obviously Wagler is kind of risen up to kind of be the consensus pick at number 5 at this point. You've got Michael Brown and Darius Acuff. Acuff seems to be kind of angling to land in Sacramento, which is odd that this has happened again.
Very weird.
Kind of seemed like the Tyrese Halliburton path went that direction, kind of angled to get there, and I don't know why anybody. I guess he just wants to be the guy who's going to have complete control of the ball and everything. In Sacramento, they got some old dudes in there, but you figure they're going to move off those guys if they can sooner rather than later, and because Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan, that worked so well for Chicago. I'm not sure why Sacramento wouldn't want to stick with it, but so yeah, that is fascinating. Just kind of, I think Michael Brown is probably the one that is just the most interesting to me, simply because it was kind of, I mean, he played fewer games than Darren Peterson did, and Peterson has the whole question about like availability and all that, and like the risks that there. I mean, we saw Michael Brown hit 10 threes in a game, and we also saw him like not playing long stretches of the season. And there's some things that are really interesting, but he also has to kind of mature in his game, and he's not going to be able to play the same way that we saw him play at Louisville in the NBA. So where does he go? How high does he go? And what does he end up becoming in the league? Because I think we've got an even smaller sample size of him. I mean, he was a lot of people that thought he was the MVP of that USA, whatever team it was that Peterson or Devanza rather ended up getting the MVP for, but Michael Brown was really, really good on that team. And so he's probably the one where the range kind of in that 5 to 10 where I'm like, okay, what is this guy? Because there's just so many questions, but also a lot to be excited about.
Okay, one last draft question for you before we get to some Dusty May stuff. Would you draft Darren Peterson?
Yeah, I mean, at a certain point, like
would that point be 1, 2, or 3?
That is the question. I would need access to like the actual draft intel that these teams are able to acquire to feel strongly, and that's kind of been my stance the whole way. I know like what he was as a prospect going into college, and I know that what we saw in college wasn't kind of what everybody expected him to be. I mean, when he first committed there, like they were planning for him to be the point guard, and with the kind of weird availability situation, like in and out, and it really seems like Kansas decided we're gonna lean into Melvin Counselor. We're gonna simplify Peterson's role, and he's just gonna be pure off ball, go get buckets, dude. But he is a better playmaker than that. I don't know that I believe in him as a full-time point guard in the NBA, which his camp seems to want him to be. In fact, I don't really love that. I didn't really love that for Stephon Castle either. Kind of view it similar, although their skill sets are very different. But I probably would take him 3 at the lowest, unless some red flags came up with the draft eval. It doesn't seem like they're like the league is really worried about the cramping and the fallout and stuff from that. And that was obviously the first question they need to answer, and then some other ones as well, just kind of with how the year went and how pre-draft process has gone. But I don't know, he's really talented, and I mean, I do kind of question the kind of the prevailing thought that like we're seeing from a lot of people reporting on the draft, and I mean, you're seeing now like Jeremy Wu, I think, has him at number 1, and I think Jonathan Givony as well, like thought he was should have been or is top on his draft board or whatever. I'm like, I saw Jeff Goodman give something from somebody in the league or whatever, like, oh, there's no question he's the most talented player in the league. I'm like, I think he's really, really good, or in the draft rather. I don't know that like he's so talented that he's far and away from the other guys.
Yeah. Is his ceiling like definitively higher than Devanza and like maybe, but
that's my question. What makes that true? Because
nothing.
I don't.
Yeah, nothing I saw with him at Kansas would say that.
Right.
Yeah. But it is going to be fascinating. Like I do think he's real good, and I think they're evaluating on more than just we saw at Kansas, small sample size with some weird factors there. But yeah, I don't know. Like I think these guys are so close, and a lot of it comes down to just kind of preference and how you're planning to build your team and what you're able to pair with these guys. And that's, I think, the way that the lottery plays out. It does make sense just to go with Devanza 1, Peterson 2, and Boozer 3, just based on kind of those 3 franchises and kind of how they played out, or how they've built their teams and kind of some of the things that they've indicated that they value. And I think the fit just slots in really nicely there. We'll see if they kind of stick to that script.
Jacob, the quick rise here of Dusty May has got him out of college basketball. He's going to go coach the Dallas Mavericks. When you saw that yesterday, maybe it was a surprise, maybe it wasn't. What was the first thing you thought of? Was it sort of the trickle down effect? Was it, what is Michigan going to look like this year? Like, there's a bunch of different offshoots to this story and how it affects a variety of different things this upcoming basketball season. Where'd your brain go first?
My first reaction was, wow.
Wow.
My second reaction was, oh, I guess Creighton's not going to have to play against Dusty May this year.
Selfishly, I thought exactly the same thing.
Just localizing the news.
Yep.
But yeah, it is like I like some of the stuff that you guys were talking about. Like, it at this point, there's enough reporting. Like, the doom and gloom of it that some people go straight to, I think, is overboard. But it also, there's enough data points now that it is having a significant factor just of the current landscape. My reaction is that, like you guys said, that's what the money is for. You guys, obviously it's changed, but I mean, like you said, Dusty isn't a guy that made his bones in the 90s and the 2000s, like a lot of these other guys that are getting out. Like, he came up within this era, and he kind of made a name for himself within the somewhat current rules. And
his
I
first year as a head coach was
just
2018.
Yeah. I think it is easy to say, oh, just like, this is what you signed up for, do the job or whatever, without actually being there and seeing what the day-to-day actually looks like and what that all entails. Like, I'm not without some sympathy for kind of what the job is now and how hard it is, but also it's coming with more money than ever before. And while it is more difficult, look what Dusty May just did to build his roster. He built a national championship roster and then flipped around, and after losing most of his whole front court, three guys that could go in the lottery, and went out and attracted some of the best players in the portal and kind of reloaded. So it is what it is. I think I'm not going to overreact until if and when we kind of stabilize, because obviously things are changing every single year with the rules and people pushing the envelope and court cases and different schools finding new ways to kind of attack this and finding new kind of market inefficiencies and ways to impact their roster building. Like, maybe at some point things will solidify once we get through kind of this time of turmoil. Obviously, there's a lot going on with Congress now and the government kind of weighing in, and maybe that'll kind of get us to a solution. But it is what it is now, and we're just going to have to kind of work with the ever-evolving rules as they go. And like you said, that they're very well compensated for the hectic lifestyle that they live now as college basketball coaches.
Any surprise that it was just Mike Boynton that they went with instead of even trying a search at all?
No, it's too late in the process now, I think, to especially with kind of the roster they've already assembled. From what I listened to, like, Norlander's podcast last night, because he did some reporting on the situation, and like, Boynton was very much involved in the day-to-day and everything there. And I think this was the best path to give themselves a chance to retain the roster, because once they do, like, in 5 days after the announcement, the portal does open again for that roster. And obviously a lot of other rosters are mostly set. There's not a lot of open roster spots available around the country. Like, I don't think these guys would scatter and go join other power programs like that. The opportunities may not be.
St. John's isn't going to be calling?
It could be. I haven't necessarily studied to see who all has their 15 roster limit. But I think this late in the process, they've gone through workouts, like, they've gotten to know their new teammates and all that. I think it's probably easier for everybody. And if
most of those guys just stick it out, and I think that's part of the Boynton situation. The interesting thing is the reporting that they very easily could just make him the full-time coach and not actually go through a full search. Could elevate him at some point here. That is certainly interesting. That being said, I mean, like they got lucky with May this last time. I guess who is the next Dusty May? I don't know. Like obviously there are a lot of good kind of mid-major coaches and some of those. I mean, yeah, like Josh Schertz just turned down off advances to go elsewhere. Got a heavy investment there at St. Louis. I don't know kind of who that would be. I don't know if there's targets that they would have in mind if they did open up the search, but also heard that Boynton is a really highly regarded assistant at this point after obviously his previous stint was kind of meh at Oklahoma State with Cade Cunningham. Didn't go super great there, and obviously had all kinds of non-basketball situations there pop up, but that's not to say that he can't be a good coach again and didn't learn from that and all that, especially with the resources he'll have available at Michigan. But it is interesting. I mean, we're more than ever, we're seeing a lot of these schools just kind of go in-house. With John Shire, who apparently turned down the Mavericks, which is what led to Dusty May leaving and saying yes. Obviously, North Carolina, that situation didn't go super great with Hubert Davis, but we're starting to see more and more of these schools, especially the biggest programs in the country, just kind of leaning on the guys within the program that have been there after they've lost their coaches, and I'll be interested to see if kind of that continues here as we move forward.
Yeah, no doubt. That is an interesting trend. All right, Jacob, we'll let you go. Always appreciate you dropping by. Have a good rest of your week.
Congratulations on making it through the College World Series.
Thank you. And you too. I know you worked hard at it.
Yes, we certainly did work hard.
All right.
I will say that. Yeah, I got an A on the class project.
See you, Jacob. Nice job. Well done by of course Jacob, led by Jacob and the Hurrdat team at the College World
When I
Series.
think of their College World Series coverage, I think of Jacob.
Back after this on 1620 The Zone. Did anybody watch the Nebraska ball movie? Is this in the YouTube queue for any of you today?
I haven't watched it.
Thank you, Dana.
Waiting to see if I watch it at Jack Mitchell's on a garage. Probably not going to happen either. I don't know. I'll get to it sometime this weekend.
Will this be a movie club review?
How long is it?
Isn't it just a half hour?
Let's check out.
Maybe it's longer.
Watch and Dream, a Nebraska men's basketball original, 2 hours and 1 minute.
Whoa.
What do
Wow,
you
is
get?
it going for an Oscar?
That's a long time.
I think they
Certainly not going to be invited for the short film.
Joey. Wow, they're going for an Oscar. That's a great line, Joey. You've been full of them today. 2 hours and 1 minute and 55 seconds.
Whoa, almost 2 hours and 2 minutes.
I wonder how long the end credits are.
Let's see. I mean, it looks like it takes you all the way. It's hard 2 hours. It's 120 minutes.
It's a lot of time.
Was it good? I mean, is anybody out there
again? It's
it?
designed for the people that are already going to like it. So yes, everything I've heard has been very positive.
Maybe I'll watch it.
Yeah.
As an independent observer. Definitely independent.
Yeah, I didn't know if I was
Will Josh
supposed to comment
Austin
on that or
Will Josh Austin?
There's times where I don't know if you believe what you're saying. There's
That
times
one
where
I
I'm
was-
fairly certain you don't, but you pretend like you do.
That one I was trolling you.
Yeah, well, I wasn't taking the bait on it. So
Is Josh Austin going to post his harsh critique of the film on his Twitter account whenever he does his film
He
reviews?
should
What
do
about
it.
Sam
He
McEwen's
should
film
do one.
reviews?
Yeah. Well, we talk to Sam tomorrow, right?
Yeah, we'll see if he's reviewed this.
Yes.
I'll type it in.
Great. Yeah, we will never remember that. But now that we have Joey, we will. I bet Sam's probably
you of being our brain
It's
to remember.
so big. So big.
There's stuff in our Google Doc where it's like, oh yeah, we did talk about that.
I'll tell you types of
Maps are
content.
a second grader.
A type of content that I am into, though. I am into Fred Hoiberg saying bad words to his team. Like that's
apparently
great
was
stuff.
the star of the movie.
Okay, so
It's what many people have said.
if it has a lot of that, I'm kind of into this.
Yeah.
This sounds like a really great idea to me. And it starts all the way back in June workouts, and well, it starts all the way back at the Crown the year before, and then it goes to June.
I was
workouts.
already interested.
There's
Now
a
you
lot
definitely
of
have my
sweaty rink mask shots in this, which is good. A lot of good stuff in here. No, maybe I'll give it a run through or something like that. But I don't know if I got 2 hours in my life. That's a problem. John Claude Van Landen says they silenced the F-bombs, but nothing else. And he says it is worth a watch.
Okay. I mean, I was already going to watch. It's just a matter of when I chose to watch.
You got your lawn mowed yesterday. You could watch.
I did. That felt great.
Thank you, Matt McMaster.
Like the looking out and surveying your lawn after it's been freshly cut.
I've
Really
been
nice.
chasing that feeling I haven't mowed my lawn in almost a year now.
That's wild.
Actually, no, that's not
That
true.
can't
I
be
was
true. You
mowing
would've
my
mowed it
lawn.
last fall.
Was I mowing my lawn before I left my previous house? Probably not quite.
Were you mowing in late March?
Probably not.
But you would have mowed in the fall.
I would have been in the fall. Yeah, it would have been like September. I mean, it's been almost a year.
Yeah. Well,
It's the longest I've ever gone without mowing a lawn.
you still got 3 months to get to a year.
I guess.
Now we get into the
Three-quarters of a
8
year.
months a year.
Is 3/4 of a year?
No,
Yeah, I think it kind of is.
it's not.
I think it kind of is.
It's not.
Sean says Hoiberg after the Winthrop game was good. Okay, I'll watch out for that. Pedro says, "Hi guys, the movie sounds like a 40 on Rotten Tomatoes, but a 95 with the viewers on the thermometer or whatever it is."
Probably that 5% was because Nick Stauskas was in the movie.
I saw an appearance from Nick Stauskas and said, "I immediately shut it off. Too political for me." All right. That's going to do it for us today. If you missed anything, 1620thezone.com is where you can find it. Let's do a crossover with Matt coming up next.